Hey everybody, this is Wild Angel coming to you on a Thirsty Thursday. I've only had a couple margaritas. It may seem like more, but they're really, really good. And so if you only have one or two and you feel really happy, it means that it's good stuff. So, welcome everybody. Come on in and hang out. We're going to talk about whatever anybody wants to talk about. We're just going to hang out and have a good time, some laughs, an open panel. And yeah, so I've been playing some music. I don't know if anybody else is this way, but music is the food for the soul, okay? But when you have a few drinks, music becomes definite food that you need. It's like an appetizer, right? You just gotta love it. So let's see how this looks. We'll just turn it like it's gonna be a little awkward because I'm turning my phone sideways, all because I am charging it. But come on in, everybody, and let's hang out. If you want to come up on the panel, you're more than welcome to. I will be on and off cam, trying to deal with the doggos at the same time. Right now, they're being good because they've been fed, they've been outside and had some fresh air, and now it's chill time. So we'll see. We'll see how long we got before an eruption happens. But um, been meaning to go live a lot more than I have, but there's been so much going on the streets that I have to say that I've been more involved in like trying to catch up and do some research on different cases and keep up with the election and all that stuff. And it just really is, like, as everybody knows, a lot of time. It's time consuming. And yeah, it kind of puts like, your personal little things to like decide. But I thought, we're kind of past the election. We're past a lot of different stuff a couple big cases that have been resolved. And, heck, let's hang out and let's figure this stuff out and have a good time. So I hope you all join me and, um, yeah, we'll have a good time. I can play some music here. I love to play music when I've been, I had a couple, even if I don't have a couple, just on a regular day. Music really is the food for the soul and it really enlightens me. And I'm sure it does other people as well. So yeah, let's get this ball rolling, as they say. Um, but yeah, um, waiting for anybody to come in. Let's hang out and have a good time. It's still fairly early in the evening. I know some of my international friends and subs won't be able to make it unless I stay live for a little bit longer. But yeah, um, I think my husband done found the chair and he's snoring. That's what I'm hearing. So, Wild Angel is trying to get Bigfoot to unpopulate himself from the new heat massage recliner that is definitely the best gift you could ever give yourself, spouse, or anybody in the family for discomfort after a long day. There's just nothing like it. Just chilling, comfortable chair. You know, if it's freezing cold, dead of winter, that ice, the warmth and the heat feels amazing. Balance out our body temperatures, right? So when we get some more people in here, then I will maybe play some songs, a couple, couple songs. The music always makes a person feel more alive, and yeah. You know what's funny, y'all? I don't know if anybody's ever turned their phone. It would be horizontal. The illusion, like the camera, then you're suddenly like, wait a minute. But when it's parallel, it's a lot easier. See? Because when I go this way, normally it would be this way. So yeah, we have a little place up the road called Taco Depot. There's 3 of them in our city, and they have buy one get one margaritas. Happy hour is like 3 to 6. So I went up there earlier. I went to go get tags for my vehicles, for my truck and the car, and got there and opened the door, and they got these like metal cage things down over it and everything. I'm like, what the heck? So obviously got there too late. So I'm gonna do that in the morning. And yeah, so tomorrow is me and Bigfoot's 6th anniversary. That's not, I don't like that number. 7's a better number. And so we're gonna go to Riverside. We're gonna go to Riverside, the casino that I've taken y'all to many times on videos, and you guys have seen a lot of lives from there. And get this, so I get free rooms down there, and it's your basic room. But what happened was I called them and I said, you guys got a room for tomorrow night? And she said, the only room we have left, one room, was the Grand Master Suite, which is way more money than, it costs money. She goes, well, I can put your free room towards it, and then it'd be a couple hundred. So I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe I can get my VIP, which is they have a VIP place that literally, like, they have a representative that, like, handles your, a certain amount of the customers' accounts. And I want to see if I can get them to put 2 of my free rooms towards the expensive room and some of my comps and get it for less. So I made that a reservation for me and Bigfoot. And my plan is to leave at 2 o'clock. No, not 2 o'clock. 1 o'clock, 1:15. Get to Corville, which is right where Bigfoot works. And I'm going to get my hair done. And then I'm going to pick him up, packing him a backpack full of clean clothing, not work clothes, to wear. And then we'll go down to the casino and we will check in. We will have a nice dinner, play a little bit, and hang out, and probably do a live. Because it's a special day. So why not share it with everybody? And yeah, so that's what the plan is for Friday. And then back on Saturday and back to work. Right now we are working on siding the outside of our house. Now, yeah, you're all going to say, no, wait a minute, why are they doing that in November? Just FYI, We did the front of our house. We did a whole full remodel on the front. Took all the old metal siding off, got it all insulated, plastic, house wrap, vinyl siding, and now we're working on. Now we've got the back done, and we're waiting for the vinyl siding to arrive. I've ordered it, and then we've got to come up, and we're going to start one side. So we'll do one whole full side. Hopefully, we can get it done before winter's over. We got to do it in sections because it's quite expensive. And then the other side of the house we'll do in the spring. But yeah, it's what I've learned through this experience is that every time or any time that you are upgrading or remodeling your home, you always are going, whenever you're adding any layers on, you're changing the dynamics of your windows. So every single window in the house on the side where you're siding has to be removed so that the plywood can be put up, house wrap can go on, and then the windows go in. And then there's a J channel to the windows. And those J channels, instead of being screwed in with metal siding, with vinyl siding, it nails in. You have these big nails. So you do that, and then your final layer is your vinyl siding. So we're upgrading a house that's at least 35 years old to vinyl siding from metal siding, and adding layers and moisture barriers and just really upgrading the whole entire house. And we've done most of the inside. The whole house has been completely remodeled inside. I'm talking from this is a 1991. Okay. And we have just partial of the kitchen left to remodel and one small bathroom to partially do. But other than that, most of it's the outside, and that's where the biggest cost is. But, our eventual goal is to get it all finished, live here for a while, and slowly move. We want to eventually move out to Arizona, Nevada area where it's warm. My husband has asthma, so that environment out there is way better for him for breathing. And then for me and my health issues with my chronic back pain and degenerated disc disease, fibromyalgia, and whatever the hell else they can add on to your plate, which they do very often these days, right? Is that when I'm somewhere where the temperature is at a decent rate and warm most of the time, I am in a lot less pain. And so for him to be able to breathe better and for me to be in less pain, our quality of life will increase by tenfold. So that is the plan to eventually, I'd like to start going out there for winters, and then we'll be here other parts of the year when, because obviously all my family's here and his kids come here for visits during the holidays. So that's the plan. That is the plan, y'all. That's the plan that I've been working on for 4 years. If it was up to me, I would already been there and it succeeded. But I cannot, with metal in my back and all the issues that I have and all the injuries that I've had in the last 5 years, it is almost a death sentence to be here in Iowa where it is so damn cold. Just saying. It gets so damn cold here. Now, lately, in the last 10 years, 5 years, we've had very, distorted seasons. Like, seasons overlap each other. One season rolls into another one where they're like being stretched out, and it's completely different than it was a long time ago. I mean, I'm amazed at how much it's all changed. But wow, you know, I'm gonna cam off for a minute, y'all. Um, Trying to quit smoking. Of course, tequila, any kind of drinking always promotes smoking if you're a smoker. So, but I won't do it and disrespect anybody. So I will hide that, like you didn't see it already. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now. Um, I like to get things done in a nice harmony together. Although the very front of the house was completely redone, inside and out, which would be his daughter's room. And when we did that, I mean, it was a complete remodel. That's the only way to describe it. It took a complete, like, what they call them, a bay window, where it pops out into the front of the house more in a circular manner, and took it out, and it consisted of one big window and two side small windows. So we took the two small windows out, the big window out, took out the bump out, flattened the wall, brought it back flat and flush like it should be, put the big window back in the middle, right? And then the two small windows we've got wrapped up and put aside for a different project. So he had to reframe the front so the window could be placed there. And we re-insulated the whole thing with top-notch insulation, not the cheap stuff from 35 years ago. The original is no good. And we put a plastic barrier over, which is a plastic moisture barrier. It's very thick plastic. You put that on over your insulation, which protects your walls. And then you put plywood on the outside. And then you put house wrap on. And then you vinyl side it. So those are the three steps. On the inside, you have insulation, plastic barrier, drywall. So we've redone a lot in this place. And, you know, to make it as nice as we can for our family, but also in the future aspect of moving on in life and making big life changes, preparing to, because if you don't make an investment, you don't you don't get an investment, if that makes sense. So you have to put in money to get money out. If you have a home that's completely upgraded, updated, completely ready to go, with no work due for the new buyer, you're going to get, your sales going to go really well. And you pay attention to the things that people like, the upgrades that people like. And I mean, basically, this is a model home for the talent and the stuff that me and my husband know how to do and can do. And that kind of helps you to get other jobs. We've had a couple other jobs. We've done one kitchen, one bathroom, where, you know, that was a big help for us because we made a chunk of change. And then we took those investments and put them back into our own home to further make it nice. And I hate it when people call me in the middle of a live, but I really, you know, like I said, you know, these smartphones are smart to a point, but they're not smart to the point where they should have a situation where, like, they have those, like, you know, helpers and you can talk to your phone and tell it to do this. Look, tell your phone to tell the people calling you you are on a live and are unavailable. Now, they don't have that technology, and I think that is necessary, y'all. Just saying. Now, I can make it easy. If it's easy, but I will go over to a different screen and try to make contact with this person. Amazon, and yeah. So we've got 4 watching. We have nobody in the chat. I'm going to say it's a little early for some of my international friends. And I would say that my girls that I was just talking to haven't clicked in yet. But we were on a call before this. And they were like, I was playing a song and singing to them. And like, you gotta go live. Your live is getting ready to start. Your live's getting ready to start. So I jump over here as fast as I can. Where'd they go? Did they go to bed? Is it a conspiracy? No, I'm just kidding. It's all good, you guys. Maybe I should have waited till a little later and caught some people that way, but I thought, well, when in the moment, go for it, right? But there's always this thing called inviting people. There we go. So, guys, I've invited a few friends because I'm assuming that I have the same issue with getting invites. Honestly, the only one that seems to ever show up is JLR and PCT. Those are the two that always pop up on mine. But I have my notification set for all of my subscriptions, so I don't know what's going on with that. But we're going to work this thing out one way or the other, you guys. Make it work. Now, I'm going to cam down for a while and it will cam up from time to time. But my phone, I'm trying to get a faster charge, and the faster charge, if you bring your cam down, it gives you a faster charge. But yeah, so it is an very interesting Thursday. That's all I got to say about that. My husband has found the chair and fallen asleep. Y'all, I'm trying to get Bigfoot over here to join us. It's taking a minute, but we're getting there. Now, I've got to figure out how to pin this to the top. It's so weird how you do that. Pin. Unstar comment. There's my StreamYard link. If you'd like to come. Hey, honey, the controller, please. My daughter ordered a controller through Amazon and she's really excited about it. So I got it for her on my Prime and she's excited. All right, sorry about that. I'm back. I think we should play a little music. What do you guys think? I was kind of hoping to wait for some people to come in, but I thought, well, why not? I'll just play a little bit of music and um, yeah, because you never know when the dogs are just going to go into full like, meltdown terms, which usually doesn't happen unless he comes over unexpectedly, opens the door, and they're like, "Oh my!" I love that. Okay, I need to give him one. All right, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that. Um, my daughter stopped by trying to. All of our dogs eat the same dog food, so we'll get like a huge bag, and when she's a little low, we'll split some of it. So I had to have my husband run out some dog food, but we're good now. Like I said, I was trying to mute as fast as I could because the dogs will get excited and they'll just sing a song. That's what they do. I want to say that in the past year that either you have to go live early in the morning, earlier in the morning, or really late at night. And that's when it seems like all of our songs. All of our insomniacs are up for that. Be right back. Okay, now we're okay. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you, the only time that I can go live and not have interruptions is when I'm not at home. It's totally it. Now, tomorrow is me and Bigfoot 6th wedding anniversary, and we are going to the casino. They're going to give us the Grand Master Suite for the night, and we're just going to have a nice dinner and hang out. But we will go live, take you guys on a little adventure with us to the casino. Now, I'll play, and I'll have Bigfoot be the cameraman, right? Because it's really hard to do both things at the same time. So, also, the casino is very particularly private about not having you film things because I've taken the girls with me live before and they did not like it. I don't know. At some point, they realized that we were filming or whatever and did not want us to do that. So, now, anytime I've ever been down there and I've won a jackpot or done something good, I've always taken pictures of it. Now, what I've done with the girls before is I'll just lay my phone down and it'll be laying up. It'll look like it'll show upwards towards the machine I'm on and play because they get fussy about any kind of live stuff going on. So if they don't realize that it is, then you can get away with it for the most part. Excuse me. And so I'll probably do that. It'll look like he's taking pictures or videotaping me privately, but it won't, yes, they won't notice. So we'll go live tomorrow. and bring you guys with us on our anniversary celebration. So it's 8:56, which is almost 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And everybody else is either 2 hours ahead of us or 1 hour behind us or 1 hour ahead of us. So I don't know. But I want to play some music for y'all. And so I'm going to play a song real quick. And I hope you guys enjoy it. I'll be right back. Let me catch the song real quick. Okay, we're gonna play some R&B. We're gonna do a little late '90s and early, kind of modern. So I'll be right back with that. Here we go. I don't want your number. I don't want to give you money. I don't want to get you nowhere. I don't want no scrub. You know that from me. I'm my best friend's right. Talk to her and me. I don't want your number. I don't want to give you money. I don't want no scraps. And my best friend's right, trying to holler at me. Get no love from me. You know the best of your side, best friend's right. In new family, yes, sir, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. Scrubs, no scrubs, oh, scrubs, no scrubs, no, I don't want no folks from them. It's no love from me. The passenger side that's been trying to at me. Passenger side best friends trying to holler at me. Come on, y'all. Come on out. Come on in. Come on in. Join Bigfoot Mounting to with some scrubs. Trying to holler at me. That was no scrubs. Here's a really good song, y'all. It's a really good one by Mitchell Timpany. It's amazing. I woke up in a dream. How many times do we all feel that way? Like we like just woke up in a dream. Like, could our lives really be this great, this chaotic, this sad, this sorrowful? You know, whatever you're living with. It's 3 a.m. now. I still the story. I woke up in a dream. I woke up in a dream. Yeah, I woke up in a dream. It's good music, y'all. Wait a little longer. Move out, kiss your lips, and then love is fun. Can we go again? I woke up in a dream. When you lean on me, deja vu, not two in the sheets. Yeah, I woke up in a dream. When you lean on me, I woke up in a dream. And then sitting down, bringing your head down, take a see it now. This morning, I woke up in a dream. We lean on me. Deja vu, now two in the sheets. If I ever fell asleep, yeah, I woke up in a dream. Two in the sheets. Yeah, back. I'm gonna go get a headset. Everybody's got a different name, different name. Now the hurt and try to heal the pain, kill the pain. Their own path, peace of mind. I'm out of time, last song, train. All right, guys, we've got the cat ears on. Get a little light on the subject. Let's do this, right? No, it's not Halloween, but it doesn't mean you can't be a cat. All right. So we're gonna find another really good song to play, and I really hope some people come in soon. Um, it's getting that in time of night, but I think later, if I get close to midnight or after, it seems like there's a lot more people up. We have a lot of night owls out there in the world. Let me tell you guys. So we're just warming it up, right? Getting ready for the big finale. Oh, there's my girl. Hey, girl. Hey, PCT. Will you please come up on the panel with me, girl? Let's have some fun together. You know, we can do this. Okay. I'm going to find a really good song. If you have one that you'd like to hear, let me know. And we will get her done. No problemo, girlfriend. I don't know if I pinned it to the top, but I highlighted the stream yard. It's so weird. The camera, like, no matter where you wait, I feel like I'm like lopsided. Like, at it. If you go up like selfie mode, it look like I have major cat ears. Like, have you ever seen a dog that has a small face with really big ears? That's what I see. Give me a few first. Okay. It's so funny, PCT, because earlier I put on a really good song and I was jamming out to it. And I was thinking, yeah, we know what we need to do tonight is when you're on there dancing, we need to go live and we need to get together on the panel and dance together because that would be really fun. And yeah, that'd be great. Like, I got moves. We can move together. We call it the 50s and 60s hour. Okay. This is Kenny Chesney. Anything but mine. I really like it. It's a good song. I kind of like all genres of music, but we'll do this one. It's just a really it's a really uplifting, amazing song. Walking along beneath the light of that miracle. Mary, can steal away into Mary. It's on my phone. You can hear the cries from the compromise, pinball bells and ski ball sluts. Watching the sun fall out of sight. There's a warm wind coming in out of the ocean, making its way past the hotel walls to fill the street. Mary is holding both of her shoes in her hands. Said she likes to feel the sand beneath her feet. And in the morning I'll believe in making my way back to Cleveland. So tonight I hope I will do just fine. And I don't see how you could ever be anything but mine. There's a local band playing at the Seaside Pavilion. I got just enough cash to get a sing. Mary's wrapped her arms around me. Feel that sting of summer on my skin. Mix the music. Tell her I love her. Sorry, we had to pause because somebody called. So tonight I hope I will do just fine. And I don't see how you could ever be anything but mine. And I don't see how you could ever be anything but mine. That's right, y'all. If anybody's got any requests they want to hear, let's do it. Wait for PCT to come up on panel and we'll get this party started. Y'all ever gotten to a moment where you're thinking of all this music and it completely like overloads your mind because you're thinking of all these different songs? I'm like sitting here going, okay, wait a minute. I've got all these different songs in my head. So when you see me muting, I'm pausing to think and trying to figure out the next one. So while we're waiting for PCT to get prepared, I'm going to keep looking. I'll be right back. But the lights will still stay on. This is an amazing song. The fight song. Kinds of songs make you feel really strong, give you an uplift. This is my fight song. Oh, I still believe. This is my for me. I still got a life left in me. It's on the ocean, sending big waves in the motion, like how a single word can make a heart open. I only have one match, but I can make an explosion. This is my fight song. Take that my song. Song. Be strong. I still got a lot of fire left in me. Yeah, I still got a lot of fire left in me.
Hi. I'm in here and you're not? The heck's going on, dudesters, dudettes?
Oh my gosh, I'm like pushing all these buttons and I pushed
Uh,
camera and the audio back and forth. Okay. So
I
I've been
never
trying.
see your face. I see your face. It's so pretty.
I've been trying to like every time I go, that's why I like to be away from my house when I go live because every time I'm here somebody is trying to get a hold of me, but on the days I don't do anything, nobody gets a hold of me. It doesn't make no sense.
Oh, let me
And
turn
I'm
this.
like trying to mute and change the camera. And then, like, if you know how you can like stay on the live, but you can like go over to another screen. And it's
Yeah.
so frustrating because you're like, wait a minute. When I come back, will it be?
How come you're having so much fun on a Thursday night?
I don't know. I don't know. Tomorrow's my sixth wedding anniversary. And like last year, neither one of us even remember.
Sixth wedding anniversary?
Yeah, me and Corey's.
I thought you
But
were
we like
married
forgot
longer
last
than
year.
6 years. 6 years?
6 years.
Wow.
I don't like that number at all.
Six
But
years tomorrow?
tomorrow. Yeah, we got married in Vegas in the
I thought
fall.
you were married like 15 or something. Uh-oh, what happened to you?
Are we having interference?
I hope it's not because you played a song.
I know, right?
You
I
know,
was trying to like play them and then like cut them off, but I don't know how anybody does that because no matter what I've ever done, if I ever put music on, it always gives me a copyright.
God, it would drive me nuts. I pulled
But
this
yeah,
out last night. Remember we used to do this? Oh God. I had to get ready because or not get ready, but I went to the store again and then I came home and I fixed dinner and been trying to get a stupid wish list for a Navajo a Navajo Indian family and I can't move it from my messenger, the link, right? With their list.
right.
I can't move it onto StreamYard. And I've been
What's
trying.
weird?
Yeah, I tried to make a banner and then Mary Jane Doe, she's one of my mods. She said that it said the link is too big or something to be transferred. It's just a pain in the ass.
I know, I know. You know what? It's interesting about technology is it's
Uh-huh.
definitely an ongoing thing because you can do this, but you can't do that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
Oh,
know what's
man.
weird for me is
What's
when you
that?
have your phone horizontal,
Yeah,
if you're charging, and if you turn it the other way, so it makes the camera at a different angle, and you feel like you're all crooked and shit. I can't get
you're
over it.
so funny. How many margaritas have you had?
Okay, so
How many have you
from
had? Look at me,
3 to 6 every day up the street, they have it's buy one get one. So So me and my daughter and her girlfriend, we all like had each had one and then we got a second one. Well, they gave up after the first
Wow.
one and they gave my husband one of theirs and then I took mine home to go. So I actually only had two, but they were over a period of time, but they're really strong because they make them in a
Wow.
big barrel and it's all mixed up in this big barrel, just fermenting in there. Oh my Lord.
How do people drink those and drive even one block?
I didn't drive, but I once did once. And
Oh my.
I only had like 6 miles to go. And I prayed to God the whole way. And and I got there just fine.
That's so
But only
fun.
once.
Oh my God. Have I seen those ear not. Have I seen those before?
I think so.
One time. They're really cute.
What in the hell's
I still haven't done a live tonight. And I was thinking about passing just because, well, I'm on the boardwalk with this 80-pound bag on my back again because I picked up a little food and some Powerades and stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, it's dusk and the woods are right there. Because the trail goes in and I'm on the boardwalk because I don't trust the damn cars being on a bicycle. And I'm like, my luck, a coyote will come out, decide it's hungry while I'm riding by. This is what I'm thinking. It's so stupid, but yet the coyote problem here is very real. They're coming out during the day in Seattle. Come here,
That's
baby.
wild.
Yeah, there's sightings of them during the day. And they're hungry. They're kind of skinny looking, and yeah, we have packs of them, and they don't sound like, when I first heard them, it sounded like yelping puppies. But then I was listening and I was like, wait a minute, that's like 50. I hear like 50 yelping puppies. And then my mind was like, is someone keeping a bunch of puppies down in their apartment across the street? And then I'm like, no, that's coyotes. Come here, Tulip.
Oh my goodness.
You talking to your husband?
I'm telling you, I never have anybody get on my phone at all until you get on live. I swear to you. There'll be nothing
Mm-hmm.
going on all day long, right? And then as soon as you try to do something, that's when it all goes on.
Who's on your phone?
Oh, we have somebody else coming up. Max, do you know who this is? Well,
Max
let's just,
Smith?
yeah.
No, Matt.
I hear there's
Oh my
margaritas over here.
God!
Sorry, hello.
I want to drink
Sorry,
margaritas.
It's
I keep
Streaker.
getting interrupted by like outside situations, and I told Bigfoot, I'm like, you gotta handle this, man.
Oh my
Like,
God.
Well,
do,
yeah,
It's
well,
do
the
the
yeah,
Streaker
secretary
guy.
thing.
yeah. You can handle me. I had a couple of drinks, and maybe I need a little party myself in my life.
You're a
I
But
do.
Streaker.
I'm telling you, we all need a little
you
excitement,
hear
right?
these other streams with these people with the religion and the
Hormaxer,
sport.
but I call him Streaker.
All
You're
you're gonna
How the
get
hell
here is
do
just
you know who I am?
regular life.
How do these
you know
people?
who I am. This is
How the
PCP.
how the hell do I know who any? I'm drunk.
You
I'm
met
That's
ossified.
okay.
you met
Oh yeah, I do
on
remember you. I was pounding you in the '67 Chevelle
She's the
out there in
dancing queen,
yeah, no, I
and
met
I'm
her.
her
No,
sister.
you've never met me.
Yeah, I remember you, honey. I had you in my '67 Chevelle outside of Chicken Bonitas. Yeah, I remember. That was good.
No,
You
I
pumped
met
my
you on.
brains out that night.
Oh,
You
for
rode
God's
me
sake!
like a turbo. My engine was turbocharged.
I met you on Morbids. I've
Who the
never
hell
been
is
in a
that?
Chevelle. I've never even been in a
You
Chevelle.
were in here. I remember you.
Me neither.
You're really drunk. I met you on
You said
Morbids and we were talking. We were all just
you
shooting
told me you were
the
Layla the
shit.
Lollipop. That was your
Oh
dancing
my
name, Layla
God.
the
Here I am.
Lollipop.
here
That was
I am on Wild
Layla the
Angels and
Lollipop. That was good,
Hormaxer.
baby. Oh God, you jump started my engine. Don't you remember that afterwards? I don't remember.
Hormaxer, I'm
Who's
62 and you've never
Hormaxer?
met.
Who the hell is Hormaxer? Who
I
the hell
thought
is
you
that
were.
guy?
I thought
Who?
you were. You
Sounds
used to
like a
be on
degenerate to me.
Morbids.
Who any guy calls himself Hormaxer, you gotta be a degenerate, you gotta be a pervert.
Oh
Maybe I should meet him.
God. Okay, you're not Hormaxer anymore. Remember
Maybe
I
I
asked
should
you,
meet him.
I said, are you from New York on Morbids? And you were
Yeah,
like,
but you denying though the time in the '67 Chevelle when you were out here 2 months ago outside of Chica Bonitas, and I ate your ass in the parking lot.
you need to watch what you're saying. I live in Washington State. I haven't
No, you know Washington
left my
State.
house except to go to the store. I didn't. Where are
What do you
you?
think
Where
about
do you
Morbid?
live?
What do you think about that Morbid with that Gypsy Rose? I think that guy is a queer.
Who? Morbid?
Yeah, I think he's gay. I think he's homosexual.
Well, he had you on his show a lot.
He always
You've
talks
never.
about my dick. He's still talking about my dick. Do you know that?
Well, I mean, you guys were. He was gonna make your film or something. He was gonna make you famous or famouser. I don't know.
He is a crumb bum lush. He is a crumb bum. He is a lush. He sits there talking about women's drama for 10 hours a day. What type of masculine man will sit there and talk about a woman's true crime? I will tell you, a homosexual one.
Okay. Well, you know what? The
Oh,
three of
Hey,
us, we
what
can
about
come
you,
up with
baby?
something better than that,
Well,
right?
yeah.
how about a little me and you then,
But
baby
don't
cake?
be saying you ate my ass or even met me because you
No,
haven't.
you ate my ass at the Chica Bonitas. So you don't remember though. That's the problem. You were too
Oh
drunk.
We've got a
God.
we've got a Bigfoot in the background on
Yeah.
security.
Yeah, let me speak to him.
Oh
How about
my
you,
God.
honey?
He's
Hormaxer.
right
Right.
here.
How about you, honey?
If he's
What's your
not Hormaxer anymore, what do you go by?
my channel name? That's the channel name.
It
Max
is.
What are
16, baby.
Who are
Extreme
you?
extreme sex, what you gave me, like Max
He's
Extreme.
got all the lights going on wildly in the background.
Have
You
you
would like
ever
to
met
be
him
with me.
before?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she
No,
have
does.
on Morbids. Morbid was trying to run
you have, but I've
with.
never met him.
But she
Well,
loves
I've
it
never
already.
physically met him. I can't believe the
That's a
things he's
lie.
saying. Good
That's a
God.
lie. How about you, honey, over there? You got lights on yourself. What, you got lights on your head? What the hell is that?
I do. I got my ears on.
He is trashed.
That's crazy, honey. You got lights on your head. You got to be kinky to have that. You look like a living swing club.
Furthest thing
living
from it.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Oh my God, you guys.
My husband literally just cleared his throat. He goes,
Speak to him.
Yeah,
Why don't you
she's
put him to
very
sleep?
good.
We'll have some fun. Give him a Quaalude or a Xanax, whatever you have. Give him some NyQuil.
Oh
Put him to sleep.
God.
you don't need none of that.
Yeah, I know he's tired already without it.
Hormaxer lives near Vegas.
Well,
Hormaxer,
you
you
know
live
all
near
about it.
Vegas.
I'm in Las Vegas, and you
Well,
know
because
it
you
too. 'Cause
told
you were
me
here.
Oh, you know what? I'm about to go there soon.
Oh yeah, where are you going?
Vegas.
I love
go to-
Vegas. I
go to
miss it.
Where are you going? Where do you like to stay?
He's gonna
Usually
try
one
to
of the
hook up
Caesar
with you.
properties. One of the Caesar properties because that's where I get my free rooms from.
The
She's
what property?
married.
I don't care
Caesars.
about Caesars.
Caesars.
Oh, Caesars. Oh yeah, you like the farm
Caesars.
shops? Like the farm shop?
Oh
Caesars.
my
The
God.
properties are like Caesar's Palace.
I know what
The
Caesars is.
Flamingo.
How about the farm shops in Caesars? Why don't you take me to Spago's in there somewhere?
I have no idea about that. The only
Why?
place I visit is dispensaries.
So you come out to Las Vegas to eat edibles?
No, I don't eat edibles. I smoke everything.
You smoke out here. You come out here to smoke weed.
Yes.
That's why
And drink margaritas. What's up?
you drink margaritas at Caesar's Palace. You like buying $20 margaritas at Caesar's Palace.
No, I don't go there. I go to the Miracle Mile Mall, right? And if you go at happy hour, you get a great big mile-long margarita for
I
like,
bet you
I
could
think
drink
it's
it
like
too. You seem like a lot.
$15.
I bet you could go through 10 of those in like 10 minutes.
No,
Sure
it's
you
not
can.
possible. Not
Sure.
without a brain freeze.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you women drink down. You like drink like fish. Drink like a goddamn fish. You women are lushes. You're
Are we
alcoholics.
luscious? Are we luscious PCT? I don't think we're
Yeah,
luscious.
well, I'll
No,
come
I
back. When you
spent
come to
13
Vegas,
years ago.
baby, I'll come over here. Well, I'll take you into Chicken Bonitas. Okay, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna love yourself. You could ask Twisted Tina over there. She already loves it. She already knows about it. And thank you for having me on. I enjoyed
Look,
it.
you have
See you in
not
Vegas.
Who's
seen
Twisted
Vegas
Tea?
until
Yeah,
the day
I'll
that
see you.
PCT and Wild Angel arrive in Vegas. You'll
I'll
know.
see you then. Yeah, I'll see you at the Hell's Angels joint, whatever you said. You have a good
Yeah,
night there,
I
Tootsie.
paper cut. Don't you remember me now? Oh, he hopped down. That was the weirdest
Hey,
flippin'.
we defied him.
Oh, did you hop him down? Pop him down? Or did he leave on
No,
his
I
own?
didn't touch anything. He did it himself.
He's trying to find some women to hang out with and talk to
Yeah,
and
but
whatever.
you know what? He's a little rough around the edges.
Oh, he's extremely intense. Morbid was trying to fix me up with him. For real.
Oh, no
But
way. That is not
yeah.
it. Nope.
Yeah. But that's when my finger was hurt and my hair was a lot shorter and he didn't even recognize me. Well, he's trying to say I was a Patty the Lollipop.
People are funny, aren't they?
Oh God, people are just bizarre. Really weird. I picked up this lipstick today. I mean, it looks really light, but it looks dark in the thing. I thought it'd be more of a darker mulberry. I don't know if I'm too impressed. I'm used to
I
my
don't know. You know,
mocha
one thing
matte,
about it,
you
lipstick
know?
is one of the most difficult things to get the right color. I swear, it's one of. I always go with the gloss, the clear gloss, because I just have given up on trying to find colors that work right. They always look weird. I always feel like they look weird. I don't know why,
Yeah.
but
Or well, yeah, and then also like mixing. Sometimes you've got to mix the color. I got to get my
I
mocha
used
added
my
to this.
I
I don't
used my
know.
handy dandy. What is this called? Let me look at this. I get this at Dollar General.
Andy,
It's
no,
chapsticks, total hydration, and it's a um hemp oil.
I don't use chapsticks. I don't use chapsticks. You know, the problem is lipsticks are so expensive. This is what I
They
got
really are.
today. It's CoverGirl, but look at the nice color. See, it's a purpley. It's a mauve something. See, I thought, well, it won't go on too light,
This is pretty.
and it does, but it doesn't. And I don't know. Wow, that was really intense. I haven't seen him since I went off the air in June. In June. That's another reason he doesn't remember me. It's been 5 months.
Well, I'm okay with the fact that he managed to fade off.
Oh
my
yeah, your
husband,
husband.
my husband was making these strange sounds that people make when they're irritated. They make these like sighs and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah. He
we had
would
something else going on in the background, so he was distracted, but he was gonna say something like, "Who are you?"
have started getting upset
He's really
eventually.
easy. He's really easygoing, but it would be. I mean, not that we all like it if someone takes up for us, but um,
Yeah,
yeah, you were like, you're like, she's married. Exactly. Back off.
yeah.
I got I got married in Vegas 6 years ago.
Did
We
you?
did. Yes, we did. We went out there. It was our first time, and
Yeah.
I we kind of thought, well, we might not, but just in case we did, I went ahead and had it all set up ahead, registered. You have to have your parents and your both sides, parents and father, mother's names, a lot of information.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I registered all that. And then when you get there, when you decide to get married, if you want to, then you just go to the courthouse, you pay $75, you get your license, and then you pick where you want to go get married at. It's really actually quite lovely because it's easy.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I used to tell Bigfoot, I said, well, if we get divorced, we don't really have to get divorced. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so we don't even have to worry about it.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
What stays in Vegas or what happens in Vegas. I haven't been to Vegas since I was 19. You
I know.
know?
I told you we have to have a big grand finale one day, and we'll go out there and have all those free rooms. And you're not that far away, so a plane ticket would be cheap as hell from there to
Yeah.
Vegas. I looked it up years ago.
Did you?
I did
Well,
when we first
I
talked
hope.
about it.
Well, I hope they steer the cruise right because I did that ferry last night. On those students, and they weren't steering the ferry right. Did you know that?
Uh-uh.
They weren't steering it right. Plus, the cargo wasn't tied down, and the cargo was too heavy. Oh, I wish Tulip would come out here. Come here. Where are you hiding? Where are you? Oh, God. You don't know how weird that was. I mean, it would have been one thing. I keep talking about him, but I haven't seen him in 5 months. I never thought I'd see him again. He was just like that on Morbids. And
Oh
the next
wow!
thing I know, yeah. And he was saying things like, "Oh, you older ones are get into it, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh God!" And then I see him 5 months later on here, and he's saying that we met, and he ate my ass, or I ate his, and I'm just like, "What in the hell?" Like that's slander. That's not even true. I don't go anywhere. Oh
Right,
God.
exactly. That is really disturbing.
And he was serious. Like he believed it. He had a name for me. Didn't he say I was something Patty, Lollipop Patty, or something weird? Oh God, I don't know. I need a cigarette, and I don't even frickin' smoke. Oh, I've got my
I
Bluetooth.
tried to quit smoking, and I think that if I was on an island in the tropics somewhere and there was nobody bothering me, I'd be okay, and I'd never need another
Mhm,
cigarette. Just a lot of pina
mhm.
coladas.
You're so funny. I haven't had a
But
pina colada the 80s. Not that. You need to get on that.
nowadays,
Go ahead.
hmm?
No, go ahead.
Nowadays, life is so extremely like undecided and unpredictable, and just holy
Mhm.
shit. Just some
Well,
days I cry,
God,
some
with
days I laugh. I don't know.
the internet, you don't know. I mean, it's amazing how people just want to come up on the panel. Like, I didn't even know you were going
I've
live
never
tonight.
had anybody ever come on my panel that I wasn't sure about. That was the first time ever, so it was the firsties.
If you were farther in your live or whatever, you might have thought maybe you were going to get porn bombed and maybe you would have been more careful, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wow.
You know what I figured out about YouTube though is that timing of people when they're like the most raring to go is a really complicated situation.
You're
You
so
know what I mean?
funny,
Like
girl.
earlier in the morning and really wee hours of the night is when people seem to be gung ho, like they're ready to go. You know,
Wow.
all the people that can't sleep right, they're all up all night long,
Mhm.
and they're trying to figure out what to do.
Mhm.
That's how I
Mhm.
got into the YouTube thing, was just by being up and being in pain and being like just
Oh
bummed.
God.
And, you
Mhm.
know, and then just trying to find something to watch, and then I see this guy smoking a big old blunt, and I'm thinking, well, hell yeah, let's go.
It's about
That-
Jimmy.
That's
Yeah,
where it all started.
that's
And
funny.
I've always been kind of a mystery, like detective solve it, the crimes type of a thing. That's always been my big thing. And so the two things together
Mhm.
seemed amazing. Like it was like the perfect storm. Like until the perfect storm was the perfect storm.
He said you were kinky because you had lights on your head.
I mean, really, I don't really
Did
think
your
that can,
did your husband hear that?
I don't think so.
Hey, if you're really buzzed and kind of drunk right now, when you watch back this live, you're gonna die. You're gonna be like,
I did.
"Oh my
Look, I
god!"
did when I watched me and Becca for 45 minutes completely losing our shit on from Galveston, Texas. I was like, it was a
That's so.
crazy day. And I don't even know how I got alive in with all of that shit that happened that day. It was a long day. I mean, I was on two planes in a car ride for an hour. And then the elevator broke on the side of the resort where the room was. So we had to go up the other elevator and walk way across over to the other side.
God.
And at one point, the staircase closest to the room was quite close to where we were parking all the time, right? And the
Right.
thing was, I got to laughing because I realized that the whole time we'd been there, we hadn't left and gone more than 1 mile or one block either direction, because the way the resort was, you had to drive down into it. So, in order to go anywhere else, even if you walked, you had to walk out of this space. And we went to the right and to the left of us, but and then across over to the beach, but we never went anywhere else.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, and at one point, I was like, you know what? I might have a fucked up knee, but I'm walking up these stairs because I'm not going all the way to that elevator. You get in the elevator, it's so humid down there, you couldn't breathe. The elevator opened the first time I was in it, and my whole sunglasses completely steamed over. I couldn't even see.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Oh,
how humid it was. It was so hot.
that's so. And that's Texas.
And
That's
that was
yeah.
in September. Yep, that was September 20th. That was that hot there. And I was like, oh my goodness. So we didn't really like
Wow.
go and do any like sightseeing or anything, because we'd been friends for a year and a half and we hadn't ever seen each other before. So we were so elated that like we didn't think of anywhere else to go. We just wanted to like hang out with each other. You know, it's
Yeah.
just like, it's like getting a big surprise, you know, like you get off a plane and there's this big present waiting for you. And we were both just like shocked by how, because we're all short. We figured out that we're all short chicks. Okay. So we're all a bunch of shorties. And she was like, "Oh, the only thing she can think of is you're shorter than me." And I'm trying to get the camera. I'm trying to like videotape her while she's trying to videotape me. And then I put my phone down, and during the video, it's like laying sideways, and you can see the people sitting on this bench over here going, and they're like wondering what the hell we're doing.
This is Becca, right?
Yeah, when we got to the airport and we stick everything in the trunk and we're so excited, we get in the car, and I guess we just assumed the trunk was going to shut itself, and we're trying to drive away and the lady's yelling at us, wait, wait. You're like, the trunk's open.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
We really did though. Like if you could have the most amazing time in your life in 24 hours, that I would say we did that. The only thing that
Yeah.
was upsetting about it was what are you doing? You're crawling around the
Is
floor.
what? Is what?
What
Is
are you
what?
doing? Hey, you were like on your knees.
Oh yeah, I'm walking around on my knees. I'm
I
moving the
was like,
pillows.
wait a minute.
I got really short in the last half hour. Oh my god. Oh wow.
But we really did. We had a great time and it was amazing. It was just, it
Hmm.
was like, and then we were almost like in tears the next day because I had to get on the ship by myself and
Oh
we
yeah.
just got to see each other after all that time. And we didn't want to like, it was crazy. I have to say that
Oh
that was like one of those things on your bucket list that really is a test to how strong you can really be by yourself because I would
yeah.
really want to do that alone. Not like wanted to enjoy that with like somebody special, and I didn't want to do it
Yeah.
alone. And then I did it, and I came out alive, considering the fact that all those horrific things happened on that ship while I was on there.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. One
I,
person
I didn't even know it was possible. But then, before I went on
someone
the
got
cruise, and then
killed, right?
after, yeah, somebody died.
Someone got
There was
killed,
fights. There was
another one had a
arrests.
heart attack. Oh my god,
And
that's
multiple
crazy.
people had a medical emergency. So yeah, and somehow I managed to like hear about all of it, but never actually run into any of it, which is good for me because that would have been like probably would have like done it for me. Like that would have been like
Yeah.
something I didn't need to like cope with at the time because
Mm.
I was missing my dogs. I couldn't sleep. There was
Oh god.
the beds had dips in them and I couldn't sleep.
Mm.
A
Didn't you
little
wake
Philip.
up did you wake up hungover like really bad even one day?
No,
Maybe
because there
you
was
don't
only
get
one night that I actually drank, and it was the day that I went on that
Oh.
when I did the live in Freeport, and I drank a whole lot that day,
Uh-huh.
but I did not. And then one night, and that same night, then when I went back on the boat, I still had a really good buzz going on because I drank a lot of drinks because they were free. It was all inclusive, so I'm like, I was up there every 5 minutes.
Oh,
I mean,
I
but
have a
they had
feeling I
food.
would have woken up just feeling headachy and
No, I
nauseous.
didn't. And then I got on the
And
boat
then
and
being
got
on
back
the
there.
boat too.
And then I went back and was back in the back where the smoking is. And I was smoking, and there was a lot of
Hmm.
people around. And there was this group of people, and this guy was playing a guitar, and everybody was having a good time. And it was a lot of fun. And a couple of them had like, all in, what do you call it? Like the drink packages. So they could,
Hmm.
like, so they would get drinks. So they got me a couple drinks and, um, yeah, I mean, we really had a good time. It was great people that I had happened to run into whenever I was back there. We had a lot of good conversations. I met paramedics, veterans, nurses. I mean, I met so many people, and that
Yeah.
was, you
Oops.
know,
Yeah.
and and then I got adopted by a family that was on there as a family cruise, and I kept running into them, and they just started calling me Miss Sherry, and before you know it, we were like cruise family, and they actually saved me that night that I came back because they told me that the place I was staying at was in a bad area and was not
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
So I was really thankful for them and yeah,
You see?
it was great. Like I said, it was a life experience. It's something I would have never done when I was younger, but when you get older, you get
Yeah.
bolder. When you get older, you get bolder because
Yeah.
the things that scared you when you were younger, you already went through a bunch of shit, whether it was that or something else. And when you get older, you're like, well, there's anything left to do but just keep going, right? You can't just give up.
Mhm.
You just got to do
Mhm.
what you got to
Mhm.
do, you know? Like when
Mhm.
you let loose and you do your thing, you're like saying, fuck this shit, man. Let me be me, Like that's our God given right. That's what we should be able to do, you know? That's what I
Yeah.
feel because and whether somebody else likes it or not, that doesn't matter. But it's no different than like them letting their letting their spirit loose, and then we don't agree with it. However you feel about it, like, look, but everybody has the right to do it. Let people
Well,
alone.
it looks like you're you know, starting this channel and all that. You're traveling is it every few months, each different seasons, going somewhere?
Trying to
Yeah.
definitely. When I went up to Beachy when she moved from New York to Michigan, that was a mission. That was a mission for me and my husband to go and help a good friend who really needed
Oh
help.
yeah.
And,
Mm-hmm.
I was in kind of a sticky situation, moving to a place that hadn't been anybody lived in it in a while. So it needed a lot of stuff, to get it fired back up and, get it going. So with us,
Oh.
with what we can do, we went up and we drove 9 hours, and we helped her, and he did what he could to help
Wow.
her, and we spent time with her, and it was amazing getting to see her again. I seen her in New York, and then I seen her. She was supposed to go on the cruise with me, but I felt so bad that all these things happened that kept her from going. So I still wanted, we just really had a great time. We did, and it was a nice break, and he
Does
got a
she
little
live
break.
out there? Does she live out there by herself?
Yeah, she has
In
some
that
good friends that
cabin
live right
thing?
next door, though, so that's a good thing.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Is
we
that?
took all of our dogs. We took all three dogs with us. They drove with us, and we hit a deer,
Wow.
girl. We hit a freaking deer
Oh
right
God, that's
before we
right.
crossed out
On
of
the way
Iowa,
back.
Illinois.
Was it on the way back? Right.
No, it was on the way there. We had only been driving an hour and a
Oh.
half when we hit that freaking deer, and I was just praying that it wasn't going to affect the vehicle enough to where we couldn't keep going, right? But it was like
Yeah.
the whole thing was like something out of the movies. I mean, I watched my husband holding this big Yeti cup of coffee, right? And as he's taking a drink
Mm-hmm.
and he's just about to his lips, this big ass deer is in the middle of the road with all these antlers, big old buck. And my husband, like, the deer's moving all over, don't know which way to go. We're trying to figure out where he's going to go, but it happens in seconds. It's just seconds, but it seems like minutes.
Yeah.
And 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 I'm over there just literally like losing my shit because I'm seeing him trying to steer this car with a Yeti cup in one hand and a Bigfoot hand in the other. And
Oh.
what ended up happening is that when we finally got done doing what I call road dance,
Yeah.
he stopped and he smacked the driver's side mirror, which completely ripped it all the way off. I mean, it just smacked it off, and he bumped down the side of the van. You could hear it. The impact was so intense. One of the dogs literally went from the back straight through the front between our seats to see what was going. He was scared, because it was it.
Wow.
And I saw all of it in slow motion from the passenger side, and I was just like so thankful that we weren't. Now the van's it's been in the shop. Finally, after 3 weeks of being home, got it in the shop because one of the truck, my husband's been really slow about getting it fixed. It was a really simple thing, but he's got so much going on, he can't keep up with it all. So it's been sitting there. It's perfectly good vehicle for him to be driving. I said, look, I'm going to explain something to you, fella. A man needs a truck. Drive your truck to work like all the other dudes. Don't take the fucking family minivan. It just don't look right. And that's my vehicle used to tote kids around, dogs around. Right? Every vehicle has a purpose.
You're
The
so
truck is
funny.
for the truck is for hauling and working. The van is for taking family and pets, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
individual cars are for solo driving. Okay. So everything has a reason and a purpose. And I'm like, you can't keep using the van to drive to work. I said, look, you're the only fellow showing up in a minivan. There's a perfectly good truck in the driveway. Let's get her on the road. So today I go down and I'm going to get the stickers to the truck, right? Which it's been sitting a good 3 years. He's worked on it, but it ain't been out and about. And I've been
Mm-hmm.
mad. I've been so mad about it. We won't even go there because I'm in a good mood
Mm.
right now. And then, yeah, right. And then the van, came into par because his kids moved out of state with their mom. So we had to start traveling long distances to pick them up for visits. So the van was very much necessary because you need something that's comfortable travel. You can't put a bunch of kids in a little van, in a
Yeah,
little
you
car.
the wear and tear in the
And you got
van.
a Bigfoot. And plus you got a Bigfoot. So you need a bigger vehicle for a big man. You just can't have him in a small vehicle. And he always goes on about that. I said that's why he don't drive my brand new car, because he's too big. It's for me. I bought it for me. It's all about me. It's the only thing in my life I've ever had that's me, right?
What
I've
is
always
it?
shared that.
What kind of
Oh,
car is it?
it's a Chevy Malibu RS, a rally sport. It's a 2020.
Wow.
It only has
Wow.
3,000 miles on it. It's been in the garage so much because my fucking ass has hurt myself so many times. I've been crippled enough not to be able to drive for, you know?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
What color is it? I didn't know you bought yourself a new vehicle.
Yeah. It's, they call it silver ice metallic. So it's silver,
Oh,
but
wow.
it's metallic. Yeah. It's really
Yeah,
pretty.
shiny.
It's the
Nice.
blackout design, like the sportier shit where they went with all the blackout rims and it's all
Oh,
that.
wow.
I'm
Wow.
silly, but it's in a garage, and the thing that depresses me is when I lived in my own house before I got married, I had a garage right outside my house, right beside it. Go outside, get in your car, go, right? Here, the garages are a little further away. So I can't just go out and get in it.
Mm.
So I don't drive it as much as I drove my last car, let's just say.
Yeah.
And everybody will be like, the kids will be like, oh, I'm like, why worry about, don't worry about my vehicle. And don't worry about what's going on. I pay for it. It's my business. That's it. That's why I tell
Yeah.
them, stay out of
Yeah.
it. They're just hoping.
Are your kids ever wanting to borrow it?
No, they would never get in it. They wouldn't have a hope in the world. I don't. Yeah, that's
Mm.
the one and only thing I haven't shared. I won't share with them because I think that in your life that we all deserve to have one thing that's just for us that nobody else gets to have that we can say is just this is it, right? And I think we deserve that as parents,
Yeah.
as a human being. I think we deserve to have that. I just do, because I mean, you give your whole life as a parent. You give your whole life for other people to help others and your family, and you do everything. And at the end of the day, you're just giving everything. But if you
Yeah.
could have one thing that you can say, this is mine, and I don't have to share it with anyone else, why not? Why not have that one thing?
Yeah. I'm
And
trying
I
to think
did. I
if I
was way older
thing
before I
in
ever
a
got to the
bike.
point where I decided that. You
I
know,
don't think I had anything, not a bike, not anything I can really. I mean, I've had some things like jewelry or whatever, but
right?
yeah. Huh. Wow.
Well, also, I've had people that used to say to me, well, it wasn't even people, it was just younger people that knew my son when I lived in the town I used to live in before I got married. And they'd say, well, if you're on disability, how can you get a new car? It's called using your damn head and doing things the right way. Yes, I will admit that once I became disabled, in order for me to purchase anything large, I had to have a cosigner. But point being made, I'm an only child. My mom only has me. I only have her, right? And whenever she's ever done that for me, she's never ever regretted it because it helped her credit because I always pay my payments. I never ever not do it. You know what I'm saying? I've always been on it. She's never had to do anything. I've never put her in a predicament where, in some situations people might do that to a family member because they think, oh well, they're going to save their own acid and they're going to pay it. No, I never did that. But because the fact of it is you have to appreciate the fact that somebody is willing to help you like that, right?
Oh
You can have
yeah.
really good credit. You can have really good credit, but nowadays to buy a house or a car, you have to have a lot of income behind you. You know what I'm saying? You got to have a lot. And my mother
Oh,
worked for 30 years at a factory that builds car parts. So
oh
she was
wow.
basically working for a company that that makes parts for the place that we were buying the car through. So one of the
Oh,
first vehicles I got was like, we got a huge discount because they gave her a
oh.
discount.
Mhm.
And then I was in the lease thing for a while because basically it's the best way to go, because you can, at the end of that lease, you can buy out that vehicle, but during the time you lease it, you're paying 100% dollar for dollar for that vehicle, opposed to
Mhm.
through a bank where you're paying interest and you don't get all that money back, right? You don't get all of it. It doesn't go on your purchase. So
Right.
I talked to this, financial advisor years ago when I was younger, and she told me about the lease program. And I got into it after I'd bought, so my whole life I'd been buying cars the other way, right? And then the lease thing came up, and I looked into it, and I did it. And then I was gonna buy out my last vehicle, the very first one I ever leased. I was gonna buy it, but then this guy got me all fucking excited about this, newer model. My other car only had 33,000 miles on it. I had it for 4 years. I mean, I don't
Mm.
overdrive. I don't overdrive the vehicles, but I do put a lot of like trip miles on them. But he was like, "Oh well, your payment will be just as much for this as this." So I really should have just kept that one because I already paid for half of it, right?
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
didn't. I ended up upgrading to a newer one and a little bit more sporty model. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, but anyway, it was going to be a car that
Mhm.
they were only going to make for 2 years. So eventually it
Mhm.
was going to actually be worth a lot of money because they would never make them again. So that was what got me in the goop. He got me in there. But anyway,
Mhm.
so when I got that paid off halfway, then you either pay them the balance that you owe them or you borrow the money for the rest. My plan before the fucking COVID disaster happened was to have all that money saved, and I would have been able to
Mhm.
purchase that outright with no interest. I wouldn't have had paid one penny interest through the whole process. That's almost
Yeah.
impossible nowadays. And the
Yeah.
COVID came, my husband's work was all over the place, and all our savings went to paying just to survive. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people's stories, a lot of people have that same story. And
Yeah.
so it didn't work out, but so I did have to borrow for that last part of it. But at least the first part of it was all interest free. It was all dollar
Oh,
for dollar. The problem is that right
wow.
about the time that happened, from the time when
Mhm.
we first bought the other car, it was
Mhm.
3.5% interest. And when I went to get this loan, it was the lowest interest rate with perfect credit was 9.2 and 2%. So like almost 6% interest difference on that
Wow.
loan.
Wow.
Totally crazy. It doesn't make any sense at all. And that's with good credit.
Wow.
So I was like, so yeah, hopefully that stuff all gets organized, because I don't know if you've noticed, but everything's gone up besides groceries, the gas, the lights.
Mhm.
Normally the light bill is pretty high during the summer, but never too bad. And then as soon
Mhm.
as September hits, that first bill after summer and you're not running air conditioning, it goes way down, right? And then
What's
then you start to
yours?
use your
What is
gas.
your what is yours in Iowa like during the summer? Your
The
light bill.
highest bill, the highest bill this summer was 229, with the air conditioner running a lot though, because it was really hot. It was
That's
running
not
a lot.
too bad. Ours is
It's not too
usually
bad,
150, and that's with a bunch of, you
right?
know, fans and whatever, and then it's always 200, 225 or whatever in the wintertime. Wow.
Well, then I recently like had so like summer was over, the next bill down was like it dropped from 229 to like I want to say 160, which was a
Mhm.
nice drop. That was like
Mhm.
completely like nothing running and the air conditioning barely running anymore. And then it went to 100.
Wow.
And so, but still, like if I think 5 years ago, summertime, after summer was over, we would be at around $75 or $80.
Oh, my shoulders hurt. Can't even lay on my stomach. Uh-huh.
So
Ouch.
I don't know. I mean, I hope the economy turns around, and I'm praying for that because, I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard enough to just get through life without having everything so expensive that it's just like there's so many things that you could be doing more of, but you've got so much going in one direction.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
insurance is, oh my God. In the last 6 years, my insurance went up $100. And
Mm,
I found out all insurance companies jacked their rates up. And it wasn't because people got in accidents. It was because of all the stuff that's going up everywhere else for them as well. It's
right.
terrible.
Yeah. It's I wanted to ask you, like, um remember Ashley Y was in was she in New York, or where was she when she was having that wine with you and
New York, in New York, yeah.
yeah, what, are you friends with her still? How come I never hear about her? I never anything.
What's the most pleasant way of saying this?
Oh God. Did you guys have
Sometimes when you finally get to meet somebody, you'll
oh
either know that it's a good match or it's not.
oh
And she was in a different place in her mind about the situation for all of
oh
us than where we were at. And it became really awkward. To put it bluntly, it almost resembled a Lifetime movie
you mean,
of the
did
stuff.
she, without, like, I mean, I'm just curious, and of course you'll say what you're comfortable
There's
with.
really
But
no really good way to explain it other than that
was
she
she
had a different.
expecting more than you were willing to give, maybe while you were
I think
staying
she
there?
was. I think she had a different idea of what she was going there to do than what me and Beachy and our idea was. Originally, it was just gonna be me coming, and then we really kind of wanted all of us to be able to go, but the timing
Yeah.
wasn't right. And then I had actually postponed my first plan to go because she wanted to wait, really wanted me to go with her, which I really now wish I would have just gone by myself. But anyway, and then we ended up doing it about the same time, but she got there a couple days early, so she was already there, and there was something. It just she had a different idea about what was going on, and Beachy was really
Meaning
going.
what? Like she thought you guys were gonna hit the town more than just hang out at
No, 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 nothing like that.
nothing like that.
How do you explain it? I think that she was trying to be a good friend, but had a different perspective of what was really going on than what was happening. You know what I'm saying? So she was in a different place, and Beachy was going through a really rough time that week. She lost a family member. There was an upcoming funeral. My plan was to go there to help her pack up because she was going to be moving and it's
Okay.
for some support for hard times, and
So it
it
was
just
more
it got
for,
complicated. Me and her were supposed to be like guests staying at a Airbnb and then visiting Beachy during the day and not like because she has not a lot of room, whatever. And
yeah.
by the time I got there 2 days in, she was already like settled in, like she had moved in for the month type situation. And
Oh, so she got there to
she
Beachy's
got real
before
comfortable
you
real
did.
quick, and then like almost,
Oh.
I don't know, like me and Beachy are like two peas in a pod. We have got to be like, if we weren't never sisters in another world, we're some, I don't know, we've got a lot like
Was she
connection.
jealous? Was she jealous of your friendship with Beachy and felt you were trying to take her place?
I don't know, I wouldn't really say it was that as much as it
Yeah.
was that like she didn't. I think if you think of all I can keep going to is if you think of some of the Lifetime movies out there that are really disturbing. and you have like there's this friend group, and then there's this one person that has a kind of a different feeling for the other person than the rest of everybody else. So then that person sees the other people as a threat because they can't get their what they're trying to, you know what I mean? Where they're going with it, right? And so yeah, it was like we were starting to clash a little bit, and it was just weird. It got weird.
Did you guys have a big like blow up one night?
No, we did
They
not
had
have any
nothing
of
like
that at
that.
all. We literally just, me and Beachy just stayed really stoned, really focused. We spent a lot of time laughing and just really trying to just deal with the fact that we couldn't
Stoned and
actually
focused.
fucking believe what was going on. So it was like a shock syndrome type situation.
Didn't she smoke pot? She didn't smoke?
She joined in a little bit, but it wasn't like, it wasn't, you could tell it wasn't her thing normally.
Yeah.
And know everything about people. You meet them, you do. But all of us do. But we all were okay. But there for a while, it got to be kind of sticky because she came into a friend group after we kind of parted ways with some people that were toxic. And it was kind of an odd time for her to pop in. And when she popped in, she got really close to one of the girls that was really close to me. And then it was almost like then she like started to somehow try to wedge something between me and her. Then it moved on to some
You're talking about Beachy, right?
Right, but even like, and then one of the other girls as well was like before that. So it was almost like I kind of should have known ahead of time, but we didn't know. And after this event, it was an eye opener for all of us. It was like the epiphany of everything. This showed us exactly what we needed to see. We found out that two of us had almost not become friends anymore because we thought this person, the things that she was saying in either direction was so like distorted that we were staying away from each other because we didn't think the other person, you know what I'm saying? It was so evil.
She was trying to pit people against
Right. And it was, and
God.
we had been so close before she came in that we were like, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. But through this event, we were able to unveil all that. We figured it all out. We all talked. We were all on the same page, and we knew we just had to leave it alone. No harsh words, no drama, no nothing. Just leave it. I'm
just
sorry,
leave
but we
it
just gotta
and
leave it.
start
We just left
anew.
it sitting there like a cloud in the sky. We just left it because there's nothing else you can do, and there's no reason to make it any worse than it already is. It's everyone already had enough of an effect from it that
And
it did.
it almost makes you wonder like what were her intentions or motives
Right.
of
Exactly.
doing that? Is it either
Exactly.
Is
Well,
it
I mean, a lot of people just see a situation where they're jealous because people have a certain kind of a connection and they don't feel that in their own life. And so they want that so bad that they're willing to steal it instead of share it with another friend, and that's sad. It really is.
Well, and also the other motive, and if she ever sees this, I'm not trying to badmouth her or anything, but what I'm saying is some people might do something like that so they seem like the honest one, right? I'm the honest one in the middle. You can't really trust this one, so come to me. Like you get more.
Right. And that's kind of how I got
the
to
knight
be.
in shining armor, so to speak, and you're
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. So you guys don't even talk to her. I don't see her in chat.
So there was posts and there was a few things here and there that some of the girls saw, but they didn't respond. She never ever reached out to me because she already knew that I knew what the hell was going on from the get-go. So there was no reason even go any further. But we just didn't respond because there's no reason to, there's no obligation to, there is no law to, there's nothing that we don't owe anybody anywhere anything at all, period.
No.
And when people start to realize that, they'll start to realize that the stress that they've built up for themselves doesn't need to exist. Let it go. There's nothing. We hold our own selves in a place of, just utter like stress and anxiety because we build up this like because people like I don't know how to explain it kind of balloon it's like a balloon effect, you know? Like like the media says they go out there and they say blah 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 blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll sit there and I'll go through all sorts of different ones, right? And I know when I found a place where I can listen to what they have to say and they're telling the fucking truth. And that's
Mm-hmm.
when I'll sit there and I will watch. But if it's just a bunch of blah blah blah, I'm off. I keep going, right? I keep flipping
Yeah.
through.
He
I'm
says,
not gonna
she
watch it.
says. Yeah.
Right. I'm gonna do
Mm-hmm.
it. Because we ourselves have our own opinions and we are
Mm-hmm.
intelligent people that know to understand what we really are perceiving to hear from someone else. You'll know when you're hearing the right part of it and when it's not. There's just
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people that choose to stay in that place because of the negativity that they live in. That they
Well, yeah, and honestly, because it came up a year and a half later, and I'm not going to get into a big thing about it here, and I don't want to, but just for an example, someone bringing up, "Oh, aren't you and Dolly friends anymore? How come you're never over there?" Like still questioning my
right. All
life.
this time later, right.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't, I don't even have to answer those things, but usually I do quickly and whatever. But people seem to think that if they're a creator, like, the Bombalicious lady or Dumpling or whoever they are, that they have the right to get into other creators' business. And that's so weird to me. That's just so weird to me. And they think that though, and even Anne, for example, maybe she's different now because she went through cyberbullying horrifically, but um, just because you like someone, right? Like I like you. So if let's just say there's someone out there that doesn't like you, I don't know who, right?
Well, you remember when I first came in and said hey a couple times and you invited me up and it wasn't all of everybody, but it was about three or four people that just almost completely lost themselves. Now, why would you not
Wait,
knowing
wait, wait, lost themselves. What do you mean?
well, meaning like they were all upset that we were interacting because in their opinion and
Oh,
what they knew from the past there was this like thing going on but the thing
oh,
was
in the
never
very beginning when you
right.
first started coming back into my
Right. And
came up
and
on
and
panel.
for a little
Yeah,
while, then there
because
was
they
people that
thought
got
it
upset
was
and then they thought that me and you would collaborate and go after whatever they and hallucinated in their minds. It never happened. And then they
yeah,
had people coming in and out trying to mess with your chat. Okay. And then we just ignored it and they went away. And that
yeah,
because that's how you do that. You just let it go
yeah,
because look, we don't have to explain nothing to you. And if you guys would stay the hell out of people's business, then ain't nobody would be fighting and most people would still be friends. That's the truth.
yeah.
That's
I
the truth.
remember that somebody was like, "Oh, she was saying these things about you,
I
but
never said anything though. That's the thing. I never really went in any chats. I never went anywhere and did anything. One time I said something, I think it was in Rebels, and it was because other people were talking, and I said, I would love for Tina to go see your mom, and I would love to see her myself because I wanted you to come here. I wanted to see you, wanted to meet your mom. I wanted that
yeah,
interaction,
that
but
was
that's
gonna
on
be
your
our
time. But I also
yeah."
accepted the fact that that's on your time, and that's not my.
Well,
I
the
can want you
thing
to come
is,
as bad as I want.
I wish people would accept the fact that it's 50% my time because I've got, even though they're grown adult kids, they're still home. They're here. They're not out on their own. They're here. And
Right,
the other 50%, and people don't get this, is my mother. My mother has her own life. You know,
right.
so it has to be 50-50, and it has to match up. It can't be if she's all flippin' sick and feeling like shit, I can just up and leave. Or if
It's
something.
not very easy to leave unless you live literally really close to your relatives. Are you going to see
Mm-hmm,
people that see each other that often? Now, I'm going to give you an example. Corey's family lives 2 miles away from us, his mom and his dad, right?
mm,
And other than holidays and other than when his kids are here visiting, we don't ever see her at all. We
mm,
never see her at all. And to me, it bothers me because if my mom lived that close, I'd be there. We would definitely have more interactions. I'm not talking about every day, but a lot more,
Doesn't
right?
she miss him, or do they not have a close
Me,
thing?
myself, as a mother, I have a hard time with it because I want to see my kids as much as I can. If they come over, they see me. If I get it, everybody kind of lives close, but not real close. But you know what I mean? I can get to all of them, but it's
Yeah,
a lot of them to get to, right? So
yeah.
I can't get there as much as I'd like to. But
Are they
the
all
whole
in the
point
same
is
state?
that his mother should invite him and talk to him and interact with him the way when we go to holidays, I'll hear her talking because I listen and I'm observant to what people are doing
Yeah.
around me, and I'll hear her talking to the other siblings like about things they've done recently and gatherings we don't know nothing about. And I'm thinking, you live this close, why isn't she ever, you know, I just don't get it, but that's just
Well,
me.
she might, if let me just interject for a minute, and I'm not siding with her or your husband. I'm always kind of analyzing. That isn't even a word. Analyzing things, but maybe, maybe she's invited him to just maybe even two things in the past. He didn't even tell you about it and didn't bother going. So she doesn't involve him anymore. Or maybe their relationship isn't as close as you kind of think it is or
Oh no,
should.
I don't think it's close. I think that she's a very controlling, narcissistic mother,
Oh,
and that
okay.
he was supposed to be the girl. There's four boys. He was supposed to be the girl they wanted. Didn't get the girl. I feel like
Oh,
she feminized him in some way and affected him and
oh,
his life and made him
oh.
feel weak. And that she's very
Wait, he
bossy,
can't
controlling
hear
with his
you right now,
father.
Kenny. He can't hear you right now, right?
I wouldn't care if he could. He doesn't. I'm a transparent person. I say what I want to say all the time, anytime, all
But
the
you're on
time.
the internet, and so what if it made him
Right.
feel?
Well, he's back. He's in the room and he knows, but I say that stuff to him because it upsets me to see him the way she treats him. I don't like
Yeah,
it. And I don't like the things she said sometimes. And, I have respect for my elders and I have respect for a person's parents. But when you
yeah,
cross the line and you're cruel, it becomes something that's not okay. I'm going to call you out. And I've called her out. We've had our moments. But I'll still go over on holidays and be respectful. But
yeah,
but I've let her. She knows that I'm not a pushover and I'm not an idiot. And
yeah,
she also knows that I'm dealing with her son, who she could have done way better by and given him way more support than she did. And that
yeah,
falls on me because then now it's on me to deal with all that.
yeah.
Where I actually feel like him and his mother should like go to therapy together or should have a long time ago. But it's never too late to go. Even if she doesn't want to be involved, I've encouraged him. I said, because people don't realize that when you go through a really difficult time in your life and you're traumatized, that before you can move on, if you don't deal with all those things that happen to you, you're
Yeah.
gonna go right into the next relationship or next person and put all that shit on them.
Oh, yeah.
Because even if you don't want to or consciously think that you're gonna do that, it freaking happens because life happens and it piles on and then it comes down.
Yeah, and
And
what makes everything worse, like when you're talking, I'm thinking about my son. People think I could have done better, but I'm telling you right now, I mean, I'm not defending myself, I'm simply stating, even after his dad let him drop out of high school, in the middle of his sophomore year, he had no junior, no senior, half of sophomore. Um, I'm the one that talked to his friend Josh, who had been in the community transitions program where he could get his GED, learn how to drive, learn life skills. And this is before he was diagnosed with anything except, ADHD when he was younger. But, help him with those things. The other one was the self determination class. I mean, just the name of it alone. And the other class was self esteem. And then the sixth one was like math or some kind of basic class, right? And
right.
I mean, think about it. You can pick your own hours if you want to finish up and do 4 hours a day of school or two. He chose two, and everything was good. But he lived with me, he lived with his dad, he lived with me, he lived with his dad, and I can honestly dare say when he was with me, he got on that little bus right down here at the corner, and when he was with his dad, he didn't. And I didn't know why he was missing school, and they were calling me and calling me, and then they needed to have like a meeting, right, over the phone, and Joe didn't follow through with that. Then the next thing was to meet in person, right, or he'd be expelled or whatever from this class. And this group setting was only up to the age of 21. Okay, so we get him into this when he's like, I think he was 18 or 19. So it's not like now when he's just living with me or something, can he do this? I mean, yeah, he could get his GED and all that on the computer. But as far as all these things that could have really helped him in life, no. And Joe went ahead and told him, well, it's not like it's college or something. He made it sound like it wasn't important because he was fucking hungover and just didn't set the alarm and didn't do his part. So that happened. So then um before that, he was in the Bridges program. I mean, this is proof he needed these things. But half of the kids were really sort of troubled, and you tell them not to stay on the water fountain, and there they are for 15 minutes, very obstinate. And Parker wasn't like that. He was just kind of nervous and ADHD and hard for him to focus and some anxiety. But as far as everything later, all the intense anxiety and the low self-esteem and all of that, I mean, that's his dad being intoxicated and saying, why don't you have a girlfriend by now? Why don't you have a job? I was painting 6 cars. I was this, I was that. Always comparing himself to his son and comparing his son to him. I mean, every conversation, because whenever Joe drank, he was on the phone with him, and he was always going back to the past. And it's just not fair to compare people like that. So I had to deal with that. So then I got him into counseling at 3 different places, and he was there for a year each. But I'm the one that went with him. So, I'm the one that has been steadfastly there for him, thinking about his future, trying to figure out what I can do. And now I'm at the point where his anxiety is so bad, he has to wear sunglasses to go into a store, which is fine. Wear your sunglasses. But I have to push him to do the littlest things. And, there's a part of me that wishes I had made him move into that home that's nearish Seattle when his name came up a year later. In hindsight, like maybe it would have been a good thing for him, but he didn't want to go. And I remember him saying, Mom, I really don't want to move that far away. And I didn't have the heart to make him. As
Right.
a young man, not having his dad in his life, do you know what I mean? Move away from his younger sister, his pets, me. It wasn't about what I wanted or anything. It was the way he said it. And I just said, well, you've waited a whole year for your name to come up. Yeah, but
Right.
I really don't want to go. And I didn't make him go. But I didn't know that after that, everything in his, I didn't know the onset of like this schizoid affective disorder, this delusional thinking of witches and all this weird stuff
Isn't
along
it crazy
with
to
the
think about
depression.
how sick people have gotten and like how children, like JFK, talks about it a lot when I've watched a lot of programs
Oh,
about
the
how 60
autism
years
stuff.
ago people were nowhere near this sick. Children didn't have all these diseases. We weren't all
Right,
sick. And
right.
and how else is people going to make money other than causing illnesses so that we have to have medication so everybody can get rich and get wealthy off of it?
Well,
It's
and
sad.
I do agree with a lot of that, but I distinctly know that he had his meningitis shot because you could die from it, and they want you to have it, right? In
Right.
middle school. And I had him have that shot, but then the nurse went ahead and gave him one 8 months later. And, she didn't catch it on the thing and all this. And it was then that I saw his speech changing and his mind
And
slowing down a
isn't
little.
that sad though? That
It's
these
really sad.
immunizations, they're telling us, okay, there's these diseases out there that they obviously somebody has created to begin with. And then they've got vaccinations for them, okay, because they don't want everybody to get them. But what's the point in all that? None of that makes any sense at all. And then people's children have been given vaccinations and literally died or became crippled, or like you described, something changes in them that wasn't like that
Yeah.
before. And
Yeah.
that's horrific.
It is horrific because then when that starts happening, you get kind of picked on by your peers, and it can almost not morph, but turn into like an Asperger kind of thing. I mean, my
Right.
own mother's a psych nurse, and 15 years ago, she mailed me a big, thick book called Asperger's Syndrome, and I had never even heard of it before. So it's like these are real things. So, when people say, oh, she's just using him and keeping him at the house. No, thank God for his friend Greg taking him on walks and having a coffee with him. And he's been invited to church and all this stuff. He won't go. He thinks churches are dangerous, if you know what I mean. Satanic, whatever, and there's no
Right.
changing it. There's no amount of reading or his dad, his own father, when he's sober, begging him to, no, we're good people. No, I never did this to you. No. I mean, he literally, when he was a baby, his dad took a lamp and leaned it so the lighting was really kind of neat, put kind of a towel on top, and he was just a little baby, and it was the best picture. Well, Parker feels he remembers that and he brings up altar tiles and all kinds of weird shit. This has been going on for over 10 years, Sherry. And I'm like, no. I even pulled out the picture out of the photo album because I have like 16 of them, before the phones and all that. And I said, this is the picture you're talking about. It's just a nice photo with a dim light. And I know there was an altar tile there. I'm like, Parker, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so out there and so, but that's the thing. At least the medication that he is on, even though people are against medication, is changing that thinking. Because, in all honesty, he really felt like people down at the smokestack, because outside you can only smoke here under this
Right.
thing, were literally talking about him. Like he was convinced, and not one day, one time, we're talking months. And then he started his olanzapine, which he had been on way back, but at a low dose so he won't gain the weight like before he's on a low dose. It's like he told me, he's like, Mom, this stuff's really working. I don't feel like, this was after a couple of weeks. I don't feel like people are talking about me down there. And then he goes, and if they are, I don't even care. He said, but I don't think they are. And I'm like, wow. I give him high five. I mean, that's like, honestly, hearing something like that as a mother, and for him to experience the freedom of that thought, that negative, uh, kind of scary. If you think people are talking about you, that's kind of scary. It doesn't matter if I tell him they don't know you from a hole in the wall, or trust me, they're thinking about their own selves, when they're going to eat next and what they're going to do. Or thirdly, you're never even down there. You're not even a smoker. They don't even know who you are or where you live. It doesn't matter what I say. When someone has that schizoid, um, the affective disorder part is the depression, right? You're extremely moody. Um, there's nothing you can do about it. And then it's like his dad is all against any kind of meds, but yet when he's really in a bad spot, he's telling me, literally telling me, you need to call 911 and get him put in a mental place.
Oh, wow.
So he contradicts himself all the time. And then that scares Parker. Wait, my dad wants me to go into a mental place and get on meds. I thought he was against it. See,
Right.
people don't understand when they're drinking the way they are and trying to control other people's lives, mine, his son, um, by not remembering what they said 2 days ago, or whatever it is. It really fucks with you. And if you have anxiety issues, it makes it turn into an anxiety disorder. And that's what he has. I'm telling you right now, most of these anxiety and fearful kind of things, and self-loathing and low self-esteem that he has had before, not so much, lately, is because of his dad. A young man or boy wants his father to accept him for who he is, and Joe won't. And I guess I'm talking about this so much because I don't know if I told you this. He blocked us a month ago,
Oh, wow.
and then Parker tried to use his phone, and he said, I don't know if I'm just blocked or if he's not paying for my phone anymore. He said, it's only $10 a month. Why would he do that to me? What if I needed to call someone or call him? And I just tried to tell him, your dad's an alcoholic. He's angry. He can't control you being on meds or off meds. And he's always angry at me. And just don't take this personal. Because I don't, you know what I mean? I don't want him to take it personal. Um,
Right.
but this is weird. Joe's never done this. We're literally blocked. And then to make sure, we both tried to call his friend Greg, and it said the same thing. This phone call will not go through. And then we knew his dad stopped paying his little measly $10 a month. So you know what I did? The consolidated trust fund that, we each got finally, um, I paid $100 so he doesn't have to worry about a phone for a year. So I'm the one that's constantly trying to keep people okay, trying to I just am, make sure people don't have to worry too much. I didn't want him to be like, well, if you pay 1 month or 2 months or 6 months, then what? I'm not going to have a phone, because that's where his OCD and worrying and anxiety will take him. So
Right.
I forked out $100, and I'm the parent, and I have been all these years. And I think there's a lot of resentment on my ex's side. But look, he's the one that chose, and this is what I tell my son. Don't feel too bad when he gets all down, because he chose to move 6 hours away. He knew it wouldn't be that easy to see his son, and You know, he didn't have to go that far. He could have, you know what I mean? 6 hours. And he's still there. So, you know, I don't know. It's just really weird. And we got the holidays coming, you know, and Thanksgiving, and he has to act like this.
Right.
And Parker is sad enough sometimes, you know, about things, unless he's like on Xbox with his friends or going for a walk, you know, with his
A
friends.
distraction, right?
But it's not like he has all these people he can call or anything and hang out with on the phone or go places. And then you've got his dad in the background. Yeah, 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 yeah. Why aren't you like me? Why aren't you like I was when you're, you know? Well, that's not the way it is. That's like me having
No.
my daughter and saying, "Oh, well, why don't you want a waitress? Why aren't you out there waitressing or some shit?" I would
Right.
never compare myself to my kids. So that's, you know, that's why when I was getting cyberbullied and, you know, even Ernie Shell was saying weird shit and all this about me and my son and everything, you know, I know in my heart how hard I've tried every day, week, and month and year of my life. I mean, it's not just the past 10 years, it's every day. You know, like with you, with your kids and everybody, we do the best we
Right.
can.
And
Uh,
it takes up a lot of time. And when you look back after 5 or 10 years at a time, you think to yourself, all of the time that you've put in to taking care of another person, you lose a lot of what yourself, because you don't get to have that time for yourself. It's, you
yeah,
know,
it's probably why I like YouTube so much, and I like Dolly
plus
Vision
you're
Pro.
it's an out. It's a way to like have that party that you don't get to have because you're stuck,
Yeah, it's
not
kind of
really getting to do much.
a release,
Yeah,
and a different
a
kind of
release. Yeah,
freedom. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely worry about his future. I mean, I it's not as bad because he has a small little nest egg, you know, that will be saved in case he needs to be in a place where he can get help, right? To
right,
live, you know, get a ride to the store and whatnot. But I've given him the books to learn how to drive just a few years ago, and I even said, "Look, I'll ask you questions out of it. This is how I passed the test. You know, when I got my permit." He can't focus that long. He doesn't want to bother. He gives up. Then he doesn't want to. Then he's afraid he might hit another car. Then this, then, you know, and it's his life is not like others, you know. Um, and I think, you know, when I see these homeless people, especially his age, 22, 24, I mean, that could be him. You know, you got
right.
to eat. You got, I mean, if you're not on drugs and it's just a mental kind of issue. But people do not understand about mental illness. They don't.
They don't. They really
They
don't.
just really don't. Even people that think they do don't. Um, because if you have PDD, pervasive developmental disorder, which the psychiatrist said when he was 17, because we could get him to counseling before he was 18, whether he wanted to go or not, therapy. When he turned 18, it was a little different, but luckily he wanted to go. That's when I took him to Sunrise for a year. You know, and they're good. The thing is, they're good, right? They have a goal. What's your goal in 3 months and 6 months and 5 years? You know what I mean? But you have to
Right.
follow through. You can't go to counseling 4 or 5 times and then skip a bunch of times and get off track and not have a goal because whatever, you know, it's really hard. It's I don't know. It's I can't worry about it, or I'll end up having another damn stroke. I have to just literally one day at a time live. I was going to do a live tonight, but I was so just kind of tired and brought everything up and made dinner and put everything away, and I was like, why push myself just to do a live if I'm a little tired, you know?
Right.
And then I saw your message in Messenger, and I thought, well, I've missed it because I didn't know what time you left that. And it
Yeah,
had been about,
I don't get all my notifications. I only get yours and JLR's. Those are the only two. Even though I have my notifications set for all of my subscriptions, I don't get it. It's weird.
you might have to, I'm sure you've heard of this, resubscribe to them.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah,
Literally
you
push the
have to do that.
unsubscribe. I don't know if it'll work, but yeah. So, but I saw your thing, and I think you said were live at 6:12, and you had left me the message, or 6:15 at like 6:37, and
I
I
was
was
thinking
like,
about
oh
like maybe I should like message a few people because if they don't get their notifications like I don't, maybe that's the best way.
yeah. Has anyone else come in chat?
No, not at all. It's really
Well,
weird.
nobody knows.
I mean, I was on the
Nobody
call
knows.
with the girls, but I think they were all about to go to bed. Everybody's been on a weird
Yeah.
schedule for like the last 6 months. Like we all used to
Sorry,
be
I
up
went
real
off
late.
on that whole
No, oh no,
thing
you're
with my.
fine.
I guess I needed to vent a little bit because never. We've gone 2 months without talking to his dad, but we've never been outright blocked, ever. I
Right.
tried calling him. He tried calling him. I mean, that's like someone giving up on their
It's
child.
sad when people struggle so hard that they lose so much of their life to things that are so controlling over them. It's just, it's
Yeah,
hard because a lot of people just don't have the spirit and strength for it. And other people can go through stuff and persevere and rise above all of it. And a lot of people just
yeah,
give up. I mean, a lot, what you see out going on with all this stuff that's just so like we've never even seen 20 years ago. It's all about people just giving up. People are giving up. They don't have hope anymore. They're not drawing
yeah,
from any kind of faith or hope or strength of, you know, and
yeah. If you don't have even mustard, oh no, that's faith. Mustard seed of faith. I was gonna say a mustard seed of hope. If you don't have any hope, then you're gonna be depressed.
right. I mean, because
I
even the worst
mean,
days, you can always wake up the next day and say, well, maybe today this will be, we can do this. And if you just never give up, someday that day will come when that thing you
yeah.
wanted so bad, well, you'll get there. It's
Yeah,
just a
that's what
matter
your
of,
affirmation said. What did it say? Tomorrow will be a better day because it's not yesterday, or what
yeah,
was
because
it?
it's not yesterday. Yeah.
Let me get my non-A out of the freezer. I'll be right back, okay?
Get back to you.
God. Look at this.
We just got back at the same exact time. That was like perfect.
Yeah. It's look at it. Look what it's doing. Look at that.
Oh wow.
And it's not stopping, Sherry. It's not stopping.
Wow.
It's see, it's moving up and up and up. So it was laying down.
So guess what I'm gonna do to my hair tomorrow? Tomorrow's my anniversary. And so we're gonna go down to the casino and I get
No,
free rooms. So I called them and I said, well, do you have any free
no.
rooms for tomorrow night? Oh, that's cool. And the lady says, we're completely booked. All we have left is the Grand Master Suite. And I thought, oh Lord. So if you have a free room, it's for their basic rooms. But if they have a suite, then they'll put that credit towards it, but it's still a little bit more. So I called the
Yeah.
VIP and I left them a message and I said, well, is there any way I can use my 2 free rooms towards the suite and then some comps to pay for part of it, but I'm gonna go get my hair. I'm getting my hair touched up, my color, the normal color, but I'm gonna have them put dark red highlights in it.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, the girls helped me pick a really cool color, and so I'm gonna try it. The only other highlights I've ever done is like a caramel color, which looked really good, but they really had, because my hair's so dark, they had to really lighten it. And with red, because I
Oh,
used to have a lot of red in my hair, it'll
yeah.
it'll turn easier and it won't be as hard on my hair. So I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it before the cruise, but I had to save. It was so expensive to go on that damn thing. And I went in there and she was telling me how much it was going to be. And I said, let's just do a normal thing, no highlights, because it was a lot. I have a lot of
Yeah,
hair. So they were like,
I rarely see, you're behind the avatar, and I understand. I can see you have some makeup on and everything, you know? Not that makeup's everything, but I'm just saying you look really cute. You're muted. Oh.
I keep pushing all the buttons when I'm trying to push other buttons. I always do it.
Well,
You
is
know,
your
it's really
husband going
entertaining.
with you? Is your husband going with you to this room tomorrow?
Yeah. So he works
Oh,
in a town that's halfway between like our house and where we're going. So I'm gonna
yeah.
pack him a bag of clean like clothes to change into because I'm gonna
Yeah.
be picking him up in my car and he is not getting in my car with work clothes on, so he's got a backpack. I got actually now that I said that I gotta remember to go pack that thing. That way he's wearing some decent clothes, getting in the car. It says guest. Oh, there's somebody here that wants to come in.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
I'm doing good.
Sorry, it took us a minute. I just now looked down and I said, oh, the light's red.
Wow. Hello.
Hi. What are we
What's
talking
your
about?
We've
what
just
is your
been,
name?
My name's Noelle, and I'm new to this channel. I commented on that one video, remember?
Mm. Do you
which
remember, Sherry?
one?
The band one that you were at the concert.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. That, you know what? And I found out something really interesting is because I always watch stuff back. And so I purchased these microphones And so whenever you go anywhere where there's any music playing outward, you have to have those on because it picks up sound better than your phone can. So I know that next time I try to do that with the music because it sounded good to us, but it sure didn't sound as good on the live. You know what I mean? When I listened to it later, I was like, oh shit. But
Concert
you
was
just,
that?
it was a pool party concert at the casino
Oh,
that we
okay.
were, yeah, in the summer.
Nice.
And that was really great. And the lady that was up there singing, I seen her later, right? And they were packing up their equipment. And I told her, I said, you guys did a good job. I said, I really enjoyed it. Because, sometimes they don't get that, even though people cheer you on, they don't get that like personal, like, hey, good job, And
Yeah.
plus she was singing all the music that we like she was singing some good stuff, And so
Yeah.
I told her, I said, man, I could have been up there with you. I was so excited about it. Because I don't ever
Well,
go to no like
this was
regular
fun.
concerts.
This was fun. I've been up. Well, it says 2 hours and 45 minutes, but you started good a little. It's probably been 2.5 hours. But I'm gonna let you chit chat with your friend there, and I'm gonna go. I hope you don't mind. It's
No, you're good.
it's 9. It's midnight your time. Don't stay up all night. You want to have fun and be refreshed tomorrow.
I know, right? It's gonna be a busy day tomorrow. I went to
Yeah.
go get tags for 2 of the vehicles and I got there and it closed like 5 minutes before I arrived. I was so mad. I was like, oh gosh. So
Yeah. Is Noelle, you guys have a nice talk, and where are you from, Noelle?
I am from Ohio.
oh
Ohio.
well,
All right. Yeah, you're from the
my
Midwest, like Sherry.
yeah, my
Well,
daughter used to
Where,
live in Ohio.
thanks for inviting me up. I had fun. It
where,
was really interesting with Streaker. I call him Streaker. He likes to be naked all the time, so
Yeah,
he's Streaker.
whoever the hell that was, I don't even know who the gentleman was, but he was on some shit.
Funny. Is this going to be public so I can watch it back sometime?
Yeah.
Oh my God. All right.
I
Thanks for having me up. I love
all right.
you.
Love you too. Have a good night.
Yeah. We'll have to do this again. Bye, Noelle. Bye bye.
Yeah, I was just like, oh well, I haven't been live for a while, so I need to get on here.
and what your channel is about? Can you tell me?
Yeah, it's about basically bucket list adventures, like going on trips,
Have you
kind of like.
been to Ohio?
Yes, my daughter moved there, and I've probably been there about 4 times. She moved there and then moved back to Iowa, so we've been down there a couple different times. But yeah, I've been down there. Up by the Great
Where?
Lake. She lived not in Cleveland, but she lived between like north of Cleveland. No, not north, east of Cleveland. Up really close to Lake Erie, like because I mean, like the
Yes,
place
I know where that is.
yeah, it was like we could walk to the end of the road and then we were at the lake, so it was really pretty.
Would you ever come back here again, or no?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I didn't really get a chance to check the entire place out because we were more or less focused on moving, and how moving is. But long distance moving is a lot of work. And and then when we moved her back this way, it was dead of winter there. And it's so cold because of the lakes and all the, it was so cold. I thought I was going to freeze to death.
You thought you were gonna what? Freeze to death?
Freeze to death. Yeah, it was really cold up there. I was like, and she was like really close to her apartment, so like you could see the lake from her apartment, like from her deck. So It was cold. It was really cold there. It's cold here too in the winter, but we don't have any massive bodies of water. So you get the lake effect, and that's, yeah.
Do you come on here a lot or no?
I mean, I went on a cruise and I did a couple lives on it. It was supposed to be me and my husband, and then he switched jobs and couldn't go. Then my best friend was gonna go, and then she had all these like just insane things happen to her right before she was supposed to go and couldn't go. So I ended up going on an 8-day Caribbean cruise by myself that I won at the
How was
casino.
that? How was that?
It was an adventure, that's for sure. Definitely was. A lot of time to just kind of like enjoy yourself, I guess. It's something I don't even know what that is. So it was kind of like a shocker at first, but I was all right. After a couple days, I was like, well, this ain't
Did
so
you make
bad.
friends there?
Yeah, I did. I ended up like running into this one lady. It was like, I don't know if it was deja vu or what, but like every time I turned around, we once talked and kind of greeted each other. We kept bumping into each other, and I thought, well, this is interesting. So she ended up being on the cruise with her brother, mother, and his wife. And she was mad because they were all in the casino and wouldn't come out. And she's like, I'm on a cruise and these dumbasses won't come out of the casino. So we got to kind of chatting about that. Well, then before you knew it, we just kind of like started, I would like literally run into them like when we were eating, and we ended
Wow.
up going, one of our excursions was this one. So they kind of adopted me, and we just kind of like hung out here and there along the way. It was cool
And
though.
and where are they from? Like where they're from there?
So I live in Iowa, and then the cruise left from Galveston, and then it stopped in Four Ports. And one of my best friends that I met through YouTube on another channel, lives in Texas, and she picked me up, and we spent 24 hours together before the day before the cruise left, and that was an amazing experience. So these are things that like I document and put videos on my channel for, and so yeah, like there's a whole lot of that. There's a ton of
Do
content, and it's all
you do it
scripts.
every day?
No, I don't go
That's
live every day. I thought I would commit myself to like 4 days a week, but I haven't got there yet because I really don't like to go live as much at home, because I'd rather be somewhere exciting when I'm going live. Because if I'm watching somebody, I would rather see them somewhere where there's something going on that's catching my attention than just being. Now, right now, I'm lucky because the dogs are all asleep. But normally, if I tried to do this during the day, there'd be something. There's just a lot going on here.
barking, barking and everything.
Yeah, I mean, and there's people, deliveries, and there's just noise everywhere, and they just react to it all. And so I'm muting and unmuting, and it's over. I think on my birthday,
And what kind of dogs do you have? Sorry.
I have a rat terrier Morkie mix, a Morkie, and a teddy bear.
Teddy.
So a teddy bear is a Shih Tzu mixed with a Bashan Frise.
That's
They,
interesting. I never
yeah,
heard of that.
it's a hybrid purebred it's designed so that for people with allergies and asthma. So they take two dogs that are hyperallergenic and breed them together. And I've got two dogs like that. And the
Are
one
they
that I didn't
lame?
pay, and the one that I didn't pay anything for, that was my daughter's, one of her puppies, her dog's puppies, is the most obedient and most like loving dog ever. The other two can be a handful.
Like how?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Well, they're males too, because out of all the dogs I've ever raised, the females always seem to be a lot lighter hearted, like easier to kind of like, I don't know, disciplinary. I don't know. But the
I
males can
think
be,
we clicked. I think we clicked.
yeah.
I think
I just
mhm.
had, I don't know. I mean, these guys are okay, but like, she just seems to be more tentative and more kind to like an emotional support dog. type of a dog, then the other dog I have, he was more or less a dog that you would like a single person with no other pets would have a one-on-one. And I read that research later, you know, before I ever got another dog. But you
Are
also
you
got to
gonna get
figure,
are you gonna get another dog or no? Like
no,
not
no,
now.
I
No.
should have stuck with two. All I gotta say is when you get depressed and things in your life, people kind of feel like they're just kind of like not listening to you anymore. You start to look for things that could possibly give you happiness, and that's where you end up with pets you didn't necessarily need.
I understand.
Yeah, and so I ended up with the third one, and then I convinced myself that Milo and Emma both had been fixed, so they never got to have puppies, and this was their surrogate dog. Right? And my husband, when he saw the dog, he lost his shit. He was like, "What is that?" As he's coming home
Wow.
from the groomer with the other two. He comes in with
Yeah.
two, and I got one here, a little bitty baby in a blanket. I said, I told you we were having a baby. It was funny, but he was mad. So, but now he loves him. So he's
So
fine.
that third dog is not there right now.
Yeah, they're all here. Yeah.
That third dog is really good.
Yeah.
Who's the
Well,
meanest?
look, I paid for him and I wanted him. And I said, we don't have anything, you know, we all have our own kids. Well, by the time we got married, we don't have any pet, we don't have anything that like we ever got together other than vehicles. And so I thought this would be special. And he loves him to death though now. Like he's fine with him. But you know, it was just that initial shock. The surprise
Before.
wasn't supposed to be done that way. The lady like called me and said, "Hey, I'm in the area. I can drop him off." We were supposed to go pick him up, and I had this whole thing figured out, and it switched. So it's all good though. Yeah, he's. I mean, his kids love him, and they lost. He and his children lost their dog that they had gotten when his kids were growing up, and his brother had her for a while, and she passed away.
That's
Right.
sad.
And so the kids were really sad. So, you know, and I tried to give the dog, I tried to get the kids to take the dog home after the summer visit.
And they
But
said no to it.
the mother said, "We don't have no room." And I thought, you got a condo, I got a mobile home. I can't be that much different.
That's so wow.
But I was just messing with her because she's kind of a cold-hearted chick. So I said, we had this little joke going, me and the kids. We were gonna trick her and tell her that we got to each a puppy, right, for Christmas
And
for their birthday.
are you gonna trick her?
Well, so at least she had a good sense of humor that day. So she goes, "Oh my gosh, I don't know. We don't have no room." And I said, we let her off the hook, but it was all good. Yeah, she did.
And she
It was just
is
a way to kind of open the Pandora's box type situation because she's one of those people that you got to like really be very highly creative about how you communicate with her because she's got issues, right? And Corey's my husband's bad at
especially
it. He can't connect with her, right? And it sucks that I have to be the one that's kind of been the one to always have to do that. But I do it because of the kids, because if the parents aren't willing to grow up, then somebody's got to take a step in some direction, right? Unfortunately, you know, you just got to learn how to get along for the kids' sake. Don't show any, like, you know, nastiness, and then just do the right thing. That's all people got to do. It's just they won't, but they should, right?
yes, and she has like a disability. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would say a little bipolar schizophrenic would be what I would gauge it at from my like the 7 years of my experience. and other, you know, people that I know and family members that suffer from that. So, but he, like, they would go back and forth on messages, and what I would do is I would get on the phone, but I had to be so careful about how I related to her because she knows he's kind of a simple person. So he would never use big words or big explanations for things where I would. So I had to be careful about that. And it was all literally just to try to like mediate the situation to get everybody to, you know, if they're not, nobody's mad at you and they're mad at each other, well, maybe you can get somewhere, you know. But
Understandable.
right.
Is she okay? Is she now she's okay, or now it's sometimes I'm sorry?
She was probably worse before she thought that we were going to finally get custody of the kids, and she ran and got married real quick and moved in with this dude that had been in the military too. And he's older like me and has grown kids like me. So they're both married to us, and we're both older than both of them. So more mature with, you know, you got the mature with the immature thing going on type situation. And, you know, like I said, both of us, our kids are grown and out of the house. And they both have these younger children because they had kids they were older when they had their kids.
Oh,
And, you know, right. And so, yeah, I don't know. My whole focus is all about how hard it is to be a kid where you live in two different households with two different parents and two different spouses. Like that's all, like it's a lot. It's enough to just to be in a regular family with a mom and a dad and everybody's, you know, then when it splits, it gets really complicated, and it's complicated for the adults, let alone you think of the kids. And that's where I get in, you know, I have to, I see the error in their ways because they're younger still, younger parents that don't have a lot of experience, but kids nowadays are harder to raise than the kids I raised when 20 some years ago. So it's just a big difference, but the same rules apply, the same, you know, common sense applies to it. And when they're around me, I I listen, I talk, I explain, uh, and I know when they were really young, my husband would go, "Why do they always tell you stuff?" I said, "You know why? Because, well, first of all, think about it. They're with their mother more than they're with you, so they're used to a female, and because they know I have children, grandkids, and they know that I listen, and so because I listen, they'll talk. But if they don't see that you pay attention and they don't think you understand them, kids will just give up. They won't
that's
talk anymore.
true.
They shut down. So you know, even if
They will
you
be
know,
shut down.
right. And some
That's
people just
true.
psychologically and cognitively aren't able to parent properly because they themselves are not, you know, okay. Like they're just not, you know, mature in the way that they're still struggling so bad themselves that there's no way they could possibly take on themselves and then even recognize that all floats down the world, the pond to the family, you know, everybody. It's a lake effect. There you go. The lake effect. It's
That
just
makes
it's
sense.
something else, that's for sure. I mean, and
What?
I already went through all the struggles and all the relationships, divorce, kids, and
Wow.
different families. And so by the time I met my husband and he had younger kids, I already know what's going on. He doesn't have a clue. He's seeing it from the forward part in reverse because he's got around my kids who are older, but they're still getting there. You know, they're still growing up.
Yeah,
They still have a bunch of stuff going on. But then but I know better about the age where his are because I've been through it so many times. You know?
and so your husband doesn't know that your kid's grown up? Like, what does he sees? I'm sorry, what did he?
Yeah,
I
he does. But sometimes he gets irritated with my youngest son and he'll complain a bit and be like, and I said, listen to what you're saying because what you're describing is how I feel about you. You're describing the things he's not doing, and I've tried to talk to you about those same things for 6 years. I said, so before you start to like really dig on somebody, make sure you're digging on yourself first, because if you're saying that, you're probably talking about yourself a bit too. I just tried to remind him of that. I'm like,
Is
just
it a
remember that.
good thing? Is it a good thing that he's talking about your son, or like, is it? I'm
Well,
sorry.
it's a frustration thing. It's kind of a father thing. Like, I wish that he would do better, but then I wish he would sometimes do better. We all wish something would be better at times, right? And I said, but your children are young. When they grow up, you're going to see the same thing. It's probably going to be way worse, because the world, God knows what's going to happen in the next 10 to 15 years. I don't even want to think about it. So, just saying, I mean, I'm almost glad that I had my kids so long ago when I did, because I wouldn't want to raise kids nowadays in the young ones, like in this. I can't. No, I'm worried. So I'm worried sick about my kids and grandkids because of everything. So
Wow.
I wouldn't want to be doing the small children thing right now, the babies and that. It's just so
Yeah,
overwhelming.
it's
There's so much stuff
nasty.
going on. People are killing their children. Children are killing their parents.
Yes, I
I'm just like
know.
blown away. I'm just can't even think about it. I mean, 25 years ago, you would have never even thought in the million,
Why?
you'd never even seen this stuff. What's happened?
No.
Video
Why?
games, cell phones, internet, and media. That's why it took so long for it to all happen. Doesn't that make sense? Because the sooner
Yes,
it would
it
happen, the
does.
sooner it would overtake everything. And it did. And it only took, what, 5, 10 years, about 10 years total to get really bad with the internet and the phones and the video games getting, they're designing video games that are nothing I would have ever let my kids ever play.
Why?
Ever. It was either a racing game or some learning type game where they got an award if they won. I could not do the Grand Theft Auto, I did none of it. Nope. And only an hour at a time for 4 kids. That's all they got for gaming when it was like they were preteen. That's it. You got to put restrictions, because you just like we get in the YouTube thing, or we start watching movies or whatever we're doing when we're bored. They're bored as hell. They're doing this stuff. Back when we were kids, we found things to go do. We'd go build forts, play games. We'd create things to do. There wasn't screens. You watched a family movie
Yeah.
once in a while with your parents, but there was no control over us. We were free to be human beings and children. And I
But
feel good.
why did phones and internet come into the picture? Like, why is
Right, because the whole phenomenon of like all of the, what do you call it? All of the intelligence of things that the government and everybody's found out about, you know what I mean? They've had it for so long. They eventually just couldn't keep it away from everybody anymore. We got things that they probably knew were going to cause a problem, but they had to put life forward. They had to like futurize everything. They have to move it ahead. So a little bit at a time. We only know a little bit. We only get a little bit, but they have a whole lot.
so if we didn't have phones right now, it could be better right now, or it could be not.
Well, people would be talking to each other on the landline, and they would be making plans to go and meet up at a park and talk in person. So people would have a lot less dramatic outcomes of things or misunderstandings, I think, at the least.
And there's not going to be no YouTube and no live streams and
There wasn't any of this stuff a long time ago, and everybody was fine. There wasn't all the crime and the chaos. So, I mean, what it basically says is that the connections are great, being able to like reach all over the world, go on a camera and look anywhere in the world at what you'd never be able to see, talk to people you'd never know before or even get to know because you would never maybe go to those places. That part is amazing, but the destruction of the rest of it is is the cause. If it was just to connect people as friends and you know, ways to connect, like that would be one thing, but it's got out of control. I think they had a good idea, but I think people ran with it every different direction, right?
So why is it get out of control? How is it?
I don't know, because people start to focus on things that are on a screen instead of the people in the room with them, I suppose, you know, or with what's the reality in their life. They try to escape somewhere.
It's true.
And there's a lot of lonely people that live alone. I mean, you could be married and be lonely. I mean, I used to tell people all the time, it doesn't matter if you have a spouse. Uh, I've had the most peace of my life when I've been single, to be honest with you. And I took the best care of myself when I was single because I was focused on me and not somebody else and what their needs are, you know?
So what do you mean by that? Like what
Well,
so what do you
meaning that
mean?
probably the opposites attract type of a scenario is that most of the time there's always a stronger personality in a relationship, and that person's going to be the one that can handle the most, take charge, make sure things are okay. And there's going to be the person who that's just not really their thing,
Makes
you know?
yes.
I'm just a very independent person. I was an only child. Um, I was the oldest of our families, the children born into our family, of the ladies in our family, of the different generations. And I've had I've had so many things. When I started watching YouTube and watching all these crimes things and all this stuff
Yeah.
going on, I was literally seeing my life unfold in some of these stories, and I thought this is crazy to think that there's so many people suffering or going through different things, you know. And
Yes.
I had no idea, just like a lot of people will say, how I'm even here, but I am, and we always look back and say it's for a reason. You have to have some purpose, or otherwise all you can really think of is that you're just here to be tortured. I used to think that when I was younger, but then I grew out of
Why?
that state of mind. I used to be like, this cannot be for real. Like, how did some people
Why
just
would
skate
you think of
along
that?
and nothing goes
Why
wrong,
would
and
you
the
think
rest
of
of
that?
us are like bricks falling on our heads?
You-
I don't know. I used to think, did I break 1,000 mirrors when I was a kid, or what did I do that things could get so misaligned? But
That makes
you know, but I always brought myself back around, and I had an amazing grandmother that I always used to say, if it wasn't for her and my grandpa, I don't think I'd be me, and I don't think I'd ever would have survived. But they were amazing people, and they were like in place of the parent probability in my situation, more or less. My mom was a single mom working all the time. My dad and her really didn't stick together past me being a little kid. So you just like, but seeing people and being around a couple married their whole lives, and the love and the dedication and the trust, and there's, you learn from that special that. So I've always, they've been like, they were my rocks. Like that was my solace. And I'm glad that I had that, so I was able to, because I can't imagine where I could have possibly been worse than I already was had I not had
okay.
those two people for me, you know? And I used to think, oh, my cousin has a mom and a dad, and they have all these things, and
Yeah.
we don't have all those things. And I used to think, but then I would think, but she's still not happy, and she has all that, is how I started to see it. You know, she never was. Where if you would have switched places and she could have lived, we could have switched moms. I was more like my aunt. She was more like my mom. It was really bizarre that they had children, and we were born 2 years and 5 days apart in the same
Wow.
month, week. Yeah, it was really bizarre. So but we were always like indifferent to the point where it was like we weren't with the right
Yeah,
parent.
that makes sense.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was like, wow. But yeah.
Right now, your life is doing good right now.
Yeah.
Seems
I'm a kind of a real, if I get a idea and I want to work on a project, I want to get it done, and I'm like real motivated, and my husband's completely the opposite of me. That's where we clash. I try to be patient, but after you live your whole life with people trying to steal your patience, it's real hard to have it when you get older. You're like, wait a minute. So I have my moments, but we're basically working on the outside of the house, trying to get it sealed up. It should have been done way earlier in the year when the weather was good. It's starting to get cold, and so I'm kind of like limiting on that lately. But I'm like, okay, well, the next section we do, it's not going to take 4 weeks for this little spot that you
so.
did.
What is
I'm going
going
to go
on with
out there.
it?
Mhm.
What's going on with it?
So we're taking metal siding off and replacing it with plywood and vinyl siding. So, but it should have been done earlier in the year because of the weather. And he's procrastinated all year long. And so I've been annoyed about that. So I said, okay, the next section we do, I'm coming out there with you so that I can keep, because he kind of like gets distracted. He'll like wander off and do something else, and then he'll go do this. And before you know it, it's either raining or it's dark. And I'm like, dude, you've got to just stay and finish. When you're done, you're done. Then you relax. That was the way we were brought up, you know? That's how people did things back in the long time ago. You worked hard, and then at the end of the day, when the work was done, when you finished and accomplished it, then you relax. You don't just leave things half done. He's a half done, half milk jug kind of guy. He gets part of it
I
done and he moves
understand.
on. And I'm very like much, I want to finish things. Like I'll even if I'm in bad shape or having a bad day in pain, if I have something I need to get done and I want to get it done, I get it done. I don't care how much pain I'm in. I just keep going and going, you know? So we're just not, that's where we clash. We just not, yeah. He used to be that way. And he's younger than me. I always remind him, I'm like, dude, you're younger than me. You don't have nothing wrong with your spine. You haven't broken your knees. What is wrong with you? And he'll just sit there and be like, who knows?
He's so lazy, or no? Sometimes
No, he just
lazy.
kind of, he's just not motivated. I told him he needs to take supplements and get healthy because he's real healthy like he should be at his age. I'm like, you need to take care of yourself. When you don't take care of yourself, it'll like you won't get a lot done in life because your body can't function that way. So I'm
That's
trying to get him on a
that's
healthy stuff.
true.
Yeah. I bought him some supplements. They're supposed to be good for focus and
What's that?
help.
What's supplements? What is those?
Um this one company, it's called Umzu, and they have really good vitamin supplements for men and women. And so basically, like, they have different ones for different, multivitamins, whatever. And I did some research, and I was like, well, we should try this. But he can't remember to take them is the thing. I have to like give them to him. If they were chewables or candy, he would eat them. It's pills. But I'm trying to get him to take those. I think I got him like a year
Does
ago, and I'm
it
like,
help your focusing well, or no? It helps your
focus and energy just to kind of like like pick yourself up, because obviously when we're sluggish, it's because there's vitamins and nutrient, we're lacking things that we need to actually have that. So but I don't know, he's one of those people, where
yeah.
no matter what goes wrong or how much they notice they're changing, to everyone in their family, they just don't do anything about it. And that's when I have a problem with that, because I'm looking at the bigger picture. Like, you have little kids, you're young still, you need to take care of yourself. You gotta be
Yeah.
there for them. It's not, do it for them. I said, even if you don't give a shit about yourself, do it for your kids. Be healthy, take care of yourself so that you can, have a good time when they're here and be awake and alert. And most of the time I talk to him, I'm talking to a dead head because he's asleep. Call it a dead head. He'll be asleep. You'll be talking to him, and all of a sudden he's snoring.
Wow. That's
It's like, yeah, I'm like, dude, there's something wrong. Like, I'm telling you, could be thyroid, but yeah, he needs to get an appointment. And go.
when do you need
I
to
gave
get
up. I
him?
used to help him with all that shit. I said, look, you're a grown ass person. I could be dead tomorrow. You need to know how to call and make yourself an appointment, and you should care about yourself enough to do it. That's the whole thing. It's like I'm trying to encourage him. Like, you got to live every day like you're alone in the world. You can't live depending on other people, thinking someone's going to save your ass, make your appointments, buy your groceries. It can't work like that, because then you're so vulnerable that when something goes wrong, people are just like in shock. And I've lived my whole life with that in mind, because I never felt like anybody really was there for me anyway. So why not make sure you got your own ass, take care of yourself.
Why is he doesn't care about himself? I'm sorry. I'm
No, no,
just
I would say that it's depression or something like that, but you never really know until you go and find out. And that's what I've been trying to encourage him to do. So hopefully he will,
And
you
what
know.
did he say to you after you say that to him?
Nobody seems to really like the suggestion of therapy, but it's it's there. And I think his mother's even kind of hinted around to it too. So I said, people always think, oh, when everything's up, it's a group thing. No, individually, we have to figure out ourselves before we can figure out anything with anyone else. So if you're struggling before you enter into any kind of friendship or whatever with anybody else, if you don't deal with that stuff, it's going to come out. Maybe not right away, but somewhere along the line, that's going to come shredding right through, because you didn't figure out how to deal with it first. So that's always been my suggestion. I'm like, you got a lot of things you need to cope with, and I've been through all that stuff before that in my life, dealing with that stuff. So that's why I knew, that it's a good suggestion. Hey, this could help you, and this could make things easier for you to learn how to, like, maybe communicate better, you know, and there's never anything bad about bettering yourself or doing better. It's something you got to do. And I just don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people in life that just keep pushing on and getting her done, and then there's the other side of that where it's like they just gave up, threw their hands up, and said, "Forget it."
That makes sense. I understand that.
And I prefer to keep people on the side of, let's get her done and let's keep doing this, because there has to be a reason why we're doing it. And I hope that someday we don't all find out that it was some big damn joke and we're all a bunch of idiots. But other than on the other side of that, we're learning and something through this journey, whether it be good or bad, we're figuring it out. Something every day is something, right?
Yes, it is.
A test to see what we're going to do, how we're going to be, how we're going to treat people, ourselves. I don't know. It's very interesting. It's for sure. I've been asking myself since I was 5 years old, what is this all about? And I was just a little kid in my head, and my mind was thinking that way about, like, well, what are we here for? Like, and why do we have nightmares? I remember when I was a kid and I'd have these weird reoccurring nightmares. They'd be the same thing. And psychologically, that probably meant something back then, but people in the early 70s, there wasn't a lot of therapy, counseling, or there wasn't a lot of anything going on back then. People were just people, there wasn't a lot of help going on. And that all got booming in the 90s, but um, you don't really know what to say. People don't always understand what people go through. When you're a kid, you can't really explain things to adults. They don't. you know, I don't know. I would say that a lot of times adults would look at kids and think, oh, because you're a child, you don't know anything. It's like you have no clue how much that children really do know, you know?
Yes.
Probably the best advice I ever seen anybody give was always talk to everybody, including your children, like you would anybody else. Like the example was, would you go to work and tell your boss to F off, or I don't love you, or you're a bad child? No, you would never say that to another adult. Why would you say it to a child? Like, why would you talk to anybody that way? If you would treat one person one way, why would you treat somebody a different way? Especially a loved one. And I always thought that was really, really good point, because so I always talked to my kids just as normal as I could, and I always would tell them everything and explain everything to them, because I felt like, you're here, you're important, you matter, you need to know. We got to do this as a group. We can't do this individually. And so I always thought that was kind of a good way to do it. Just be transparent and hope that your kids grow up and that they will be able to be that way with you, knowing that
Did
that's how you lived.
did they grow up as
I would I would say that they did. I mean, all the kids really do. They will tell me, they don't hold things back. When they have their own kids and stuff now, some of them, and that we don't talk as much as we used to. But the younger group, I'm like, I'm the hotline. Trust me, everybody calls me when something's going on, but that's okay, because that's what I'm here for. So, um, and I can always make them laugh, even when they're really sad. We try to get through it and get to that next spot. But I love to hear from them, because it's different when they grow up and they move out, and you know. But at least probably the youngest, three youngest, we have the most contact. Like, we all live fairly close together, but they don't call me to come see me, and we do stuff. We went and had some tacos tonight. I was
that's
trying to give
good.
him about some advice on her driving, not being very complacent.
How is
Because
her driving? Really
a
bad or is
little
it
different than what I'd be doing, but she has like high anxiety, so she shows it in her driving. And I said, don't drive like you feel inside, or you're gonna kill yourself or someone else, because you're raring to go. I said, just put some music on, chill, and just take your time. Where do you really have to be unless you're really in a hurry? You're late for an appointment. What is the rush? Everybody thinks they got to get somewhere quick.
yeah.
Take your time. Just take your time. The earth is spinning so fast. Let's slow down a little bit, y'all. That's all I got to say, because it's too much. It's going round and
And
round.
how is your driving? Yours. How is your driving?
Oh, I'm a
Yours.
real chill driver. Yeah, I'm a good driver. Yeah, I just go with the flow. I don't do any road rage.
Why
Even though
would somebody do that? That's bad.
I've never in my life heard of people going off the deep end, pulling up beside somebody because somebody did something or another. Or, I mean, somebody can cut somebody off and not even mean to, because one of them did something and they had to move over. And why people take things so seriously to the point where they would want to kill someone is beyond me. It's heart wrenching. I just can't even imagine. There's a lot of angry people out there. That's all I have to
Yes,
say.
it is.
And I try to stay the hell away from all of it as much as I can.
Same.
Try to stay safe. Got my dogs watching over me. I take care of them, and I just try to stay low and chill. Going on those adventures, though, that's when I'm out around a bunch of people, and I'm okay with it. But I'm
What's
not a
the
big fan.
recent what's the ventures do you go on? It's really interesting. To me, it
So,
is.
yeah, so I want to say that when I first started, I would probably say that I was doing a lot of traveling out to Vegas and Laughlin, which is right between Arizona and Nevada, the southern part, because me and my husband got married in Vegas, and so we had signed up with Caesar's Rewards, and then that literally is connected to multiple casinos. So we started getting offers to take these trips out there for $70 for two people. And that was your airfare, that was your hotel stay. All you had to have was your money for whatever, food and everything, right? So we started going on those and we did that for a good 4 years straight. And I mean, and then I took certain family members with us and shared these like adventures. So there's a whole lot of videos. I have probably over 200 now, but videos, mostly videos and shorts. There's, both, but it's just all the different places we've been, adventures with the family, trips with the dogs, parks, just, anywhere, places, unique places. I want to try to take people places that they may not ever get to go. Just, you know, I used to watch this one channel. It's called Country Collectors, and they travel all over the world, all over, beautiful places. And you kind of take you along with them. They show you kind of the ins and outs of, like places that are good to eat, stay, what the rules are, the money exchange. It's real, very educational, but very beautiful and lovely to watch. And that really just like inspired me. And then I've always thought about a bucket list because, like I said, I had kids when I was younger, and I'm still fairly youngish at this age with everybody growing up, so I could start to travel and do things I couldn't do when they were younger, and I couldn't do it. So I'm trying to do that stuff now as much as I can, you know. I don't
That
feel like
makes
I ever
sense.
lost out on anything because I've been able to do it, with them when they were growing up and then now by myself.
So, what about the videos in Ohio? Do you have some videos in Ohio?
No, because I wasn't doing YouTube, but that was way before my YouTube days. Yeah, I didn't honestly even know what YouTube was at first. I thought it was just music, and I was like watching the thing and like trying to find something to listen to, and then I noticed they had movies on there, and then I came across this like channel, and I didn't even realize like people had like channels where they could like they were live, right? And it was
Yes.
about true crime or something, and some like I love like crime cases, so that's what got me started watching it. And I think I thought my kids were weird because they were young and they weren't even on YouTube, but they're all on Instagram and Snapchat. So I figured,
And Facebook.
yeah. And I thought you guys aren't even into that. I thought YouTube was a big thing, but I don't know. I guess there's just too many other ones. They don't all really get into it as much. I guess as us older adults do.
And TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. There you go. That one too. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I used to wonder what my son was doing. He'd be sitting there and he'd be taking pictures of his face
Yeah.
over and over. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Like, do you want me to take a picture for you? And I didn't realize it was Snapchat the very first time. I really thought he was losing it.
And what did he say? And what did he say to you after that?
Yeah, he goes, Mom, it's Snapchat. And I'm like, I know, but like, didn't you want to do something different in any of those poses? I just was like, why would you want to like take a picture of yourself and then send a note? I don't know. I guess whatever. Whatever, I guess. But it was just funny. I don't think that would be my cup of tea. I mean, I was overwhelmed when Facebook first came out. I
Facebook
was
is for old people.
Yeah,
Consider
I was
that.
excited about it because I was able to find a lot of like friends and people that I hadn't
Yes,
seen in a million
yes.
years. That was exciting, but then I mean, I kind of like kind of got away from it after a while. It wasn't like a big thing, you know. Probably nowhere near as much as like the way that I use it nowadays. Like not
The
Facebook, but the
most
Messenger.
dangerous app is what? TikTok? That's what people are saying.
I'd never been into any of them. I mean, literally, like other than Facebook, YouTube was the first thing I ever checked in on. Yeah. There's so much information out there. Oh my Lord. I'm always trying to, I do a lot of research. I'll sit and spend hours, like if I can't sleep, just researching, trying to find somebody that sounds like they at least know what they're talking about and may not be lying. Good luck, right?
Yes.
That's what I spend a lot of time doing because I don't want to waste my time watching something that's stupid, you know, or people acting crazy, talking about crazy stuff. It's like, I hate to tell you guys, but we all live in the same country, so stop fighting each other and pay attention around you. That's all that has to happen. Just shut up. Everybody, shh. I'm gonna make a viral video. Everybody, shh. Have it only word. That'd be great, wouldn't it? The power of
Yes.
shh.
And so these wars have to stop. Like when he okay.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
none of it ever should. None of them in any of the whole list should have ever happened.
Yes, that's true.
Ever. And there was never a reason. There was always power, money, and politically moved. The sad thing about it is that an average everyday person has no control over how that happens and who makes those decisions. We're just the scapegoats of whatever happens after what they decide to do. We're just here to get the backlash of it. If we don't have a savior and Jesus don't come down and save us all, we're doomed.
Yes, thank you for bringing that
up. We're doomed. We don't have to be doomed, but we're probably doomed. I'm just saying.
Or if the gas prices, lower it down. Sorry, I'm
Well, look
talking
at the
politics.
weather. The weather anomalies are so significantly severe compared to over the last 20 years that
What
there's
do you
no
mean
doubt
the
in my
weather?
mind that they're not
What do
messing
you mean the
around with
weather?
something that's causing more and more weather. Because people,
Excuse
there's just
me. What do you mean about the weather? The weather outside?
the weather, like with all these severe storms that when they come in like clusters, and you'll have like this long time period where there's nothing going on anywhere, and then all of a sudden it's uh, an earthquake or a hurricane or a tornado, some
Is
horrific or
that
an explosion.
hurricane is over with? Is that Florida hurricane's over with or no? Is it?
Yeah, they had 2 in a row.
Wow.
And literally, I got back I was in my last port on the cruise when the Helene went up along the coastal line up towards North Carolina and it made the waters in that area very rough because it was so close to Florida
Yeah.
that they canceled most of the excursions, like water sports stuff we were going to do that day because of it. And so we were in a place where it's supposed to be really like beautiful aqua water with no heavy waves, and it was really harsh. So that was that was a little depressing, but we had one night out to sea that I would say was pretty rough, not terrible, but my bathroom door was swaying instead of just barely moving like it normally did, just for 24 hours. But other than that, it wasn't bad. It was just a little bizarre. But a lot of things hit the boat because of the hurricane going through up above us, because we had all these birds that had got blown away because of the storm they got blown, and when they saw the lights on the boat, they were attracted to it thinking it was land, and a lot of them died. They crashed right into the boat, into the
Wow,
glass.
I
It
didn't
was
know that.
terrible. So we had a bunch of dead birds one day, and the day we were coming back into the Gulf of Mexico, there was an ungodly amount of dragonflies, and they were huge, and they were just flying and all over. It was just crazy. I was like,
Wow.
what is going on
And did you
around it?
know what was going on at first or no? Like, did you eventually know
Oh
or
no, we
no?
knew because they have like, the cruise news on, and they have like the like weather, and then they have like a channel in there that shows you where the boat's at, and a live camera of the front of the boat, so you can watch that and see exactly where we're heading to. So that was really
That
cool.
makes sense. That makes sense. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Jeez.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, it is. I didn't know that. A boat hits. Wow. Okay.
So are you near Cleveland or just
Cleveland. Cleveland.
okay? No, because I want to say, I think we were like 15, 20 minutes from there where she lived. It was probably about 15 or 20 minutes, but she worked in Cleveland. Like the Amazon store or something, I think is where her first job was there. Oh, excuse me. Oh, goodness. They say when you yawn a lot, you need more oxygen. It's possible. One thing I know is refrigerators have to be one of the most interesting appliances in your kitchen because they have a story that they tell while they're doing things throughout the day because you never hear noise from any appliance. But oh my goodness. Because I remember we used to have one with an ice maker, and that one really had some noises, but this one's not so much. Just a little bit. Uh-oh. Did we lose ya? Hey, everybody out there. It's midnight. So that means it's only 6 o'clock in the UK, which is fairly early in the morning. Most people are just barely having their first cup of tea. Yeah, I've been live for, oh, Martin, see, you heard me. Like, it was like wavelength. You heard me say tea, and Martin popped in just like that. That's funny. Oh my goodness. What up? So I went to get tags for 2 of the vehicles yesterday, and we were 5 minutes late, so I have to wait till morning. And me and my daughter and her friend stopped at the Taco Depot up the street, and they have buy one get one margaritas Monday through Friday. So we decided to have some of those. And then I called Bigfoot and I said, well, do you want to go home to the dogs, or do you want to get dropped off over here and have, yeah, he loves tacos and salsa and chips. So he came up there, and we just hung out and probably had, I only had 3, but ooh, they're strong. And that was oh, sorry, it was probably 4:30 when we first ordered. Yeah. And so I finished the one I brought home like a couple hours ago. I'm telling you, get a really good buzz off of tequila. Some good stuff. Oh my goodness. I don't know, Martin. Did you ever get a chance to check out any of my videos that I did from when I went on my trip, a road trip to Michigan? I wish we would have had more time. If my husband had more time off, we would have gone and drove over out east there and see if we could have helped out anybody out there with all that devastation. Because my husband's a contractor and a builder. He could probably helped get some housing going for some of the folks out there that are without anything. Yeah, it was after the cruise. We went to Michigan a month ago. Yeah, a month ago this week. And did a road trip. It was 9 hours, and we had the 3 dogs with us and everything. It was wild. And on the way there, we hit a deer, or I should say, the deer hit us. He sure did. He ran right the fuck into us like a fucking big ass truck, antlers and all. It was quite traumatizing, I have to say. I definitely can tell you that we were only an hour and a half into the drive, and we still had 8 hours to go, maybe a little under 8 hours to go. I literally had to smoke and keep myself calm the rest of the way, because all I could think about, because we were driving at night, was coming across any more. I was like, oh my gosh, because it's yeah. We were part of the road, we were out on the interstate where we were at. There was a lot of wooded areas around on both sides of the road, but it was scary. So yeah, it was hard. I was so glad when we stopped, slept for a little bit, woke up, and it was just about light out, because then I knew the rest of the trip would go smooth, and it did. But I think there was a lot of other people who had the same notion to pull over where we did, because there was like semis and different vehicles there, that stop and they go in and shower and do all that. But we were like, um, we just pulled up, and I kind of noticed after a while that like more and more people started kind of like filling up that back parking lot, and I'm like, this is weird. Everybody, but yeah, we just turned the car off and laid back, took a little cat nap. Ugh, issue. Ugh. Prayed that the dogs would stay asleep since we weren't moving anymore, because it's like kids in a car. As long as you're moving, they're getting rocked around. But once you stop, you're stopped. And we didn't want to get out or do anything. It was chilly, so everybody took a little nap. And then more and more people seemed like they were coming around. And then the dogs got all excited because, they could hear people talking or hear doors slamming. So that didn't work in our favor at all. But yeah, we got a little cat nap in, and we got there. Driving at night was perfect for the dog situation, because they're used to sleeping at night. So they were asleep, and they slept pretty much the whole trip. We got out twice and did potty and water, and yeah, but they're great. They travel good, and the van's perfect for it. I just put their little dog cot in there, which is kind of off the ground. And I put this big fluffy dog bed on top, and I have a dog car seat for the little guy, and we put that in one of the seats, and yeah, it worked out really good. We had a good time. Yeah, I can't quit yawning. I've like yawned about 1,000 times. It's almost getting annoying to me. I don't know. Everybody's just waking up. I was playing music earlier. I probably could do it again, but Bigfoot has gone to sleep. I can hear him snoring already. Martin, I've been live for just under 4 hours, dude. I can't even believe it. So it happens. And then it hasn't been a good time of the night. A lot of people didn't get notifications, I'm assuming. But, oh my goodness gracious. I can hear Bigfoot snoring in the other room. I am really, 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 really tired. One of the dogs just was over here, like, down below my feet, and I didn't realize they were laying there. I was just like, what in the heck? So, I think I'm going to close out, y'all, and I'll save the energy for tomorrow. Me and Bigfoot are probably going to go live from down at the casino. I'll take you to the suite. I'll give you a little tour of that, which makes my house look really small. It's so big, but yeah. Thanks for coming in, watching, and hanging out. I'm gonna turn my ears off. Oh, turn my ears off. But yeah, I appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out. And if you didn't get a chance to come in, you watch the replay. But PCT was here for a while, and then y'all come in and hang out for a little bit. And yeah, so everybody take care and have a great Friday. Bye.